Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiats here. It's Thursday. We are back in business, baby. We got both teams playing today. 905 at Windy City Bulls, and the Raptors are hosting the New Orleans Pelicans here in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena. I got your preview ready for you today on both things. Let me just check in the comments real quick. Alex is here. He's saying, are we winning today? Well, I want to take this question very seriously and think about this. Well, this is an important game because this game will set a tone right off the bat after this break. So, in some ways, yes, this is a very hard game. The Pelicans have been a decent team at times in recently. Let me just see what they've done in their schedule in the last couple games. Now, they went on a really bad losing streak for a while since we saw them the first time. And then they've won, it looks like they've won 4 out of their last 6 recently. So they lost to the Lakers in their last game before the All-Star break. So they're beatable. They're very, very beatable. And we need to make sure that we do beat them because we really do need to set off on the right foot after this All-Star break. There's a certain amount of winning that we have to do to put ourselves into the playoffs. And if we don't do that kind of winning, well, we're going to be in the play-in, or maybe even, I doubt we'll fall out of the play-in. But if we want a full playoff spot, we got to get going. And no messing around. We got to set the tone tonight with the New Orleans Pelicans. Their injuries are as such. Right now, we have Dyson Daniels and Larry Nance Jr. are both probable for today. They've been out, but they're probable. As I said, they could probably play today. But otherwise, Zion Williamson and EJ Liddell are out for them. So they're looking like, other than Zion not being there, they're pretty full strength in some ways. We've got to think about these wings in their starting lineup. They've got Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy III, and Herbert Jones. These guys are all very similar builds and long, but they do different things. They kind of are like different flavors of wings, just like our guys. You got Ingram, who's very much a scorer, kind of their lead guy, who does a lot of really good things. Then you got Herb Jones, who's a bit more defensive oriented. And then you got Trey Murphy, a guy who kind of can slam and can also shoot threes. And then we get into the other ends of things. We got Jonas Valančiūnas, the big man. That'll be a great matchup with Poeltl. I think that's an area that Raptor fans need to keep their eyes open, much like when we played the Orlando Magic right before the break. Look at the difference that Jakob brings, and as far as like when we played the Pelicans the first time this season in New Orleans, they really did dominate us down low, and they routed us. That was actually a very embarrassing game, and Zion Williamson was throwing it down like crazy, and we had nothing down low to stop them. Well, you're going to see a big difference now that the big Austrian's back in Toronto, and hopefully he can hold it down and maybe stop Jonas from being so crazy good like he was the first time he played us this year. I think I remember him getting like a 20-point game with like 15 rebounds against us. So hopefully he can minimize Jonas Valančiūnas in this game this time, and we'll see a huge difference between the first Pelicans game this season and the one tonight. That they don't dominate us down low because we have Poeltl now. So CJ McCollum is playing point guard for them. And he's kind of a shooting guard, point guard. And it's probably likely that Fred will get him in defensive assignment. Now, I personally have something against CJ McCollum right now. And I think the Raptors, maybe if you want to get a little Michael Jordan gumption tonight to kick the Pelicans' ass tonight, Raptors, let's just remember one thing about what CJ said earlier this season. He's a little bit of loose-lipped as a union rep for the Players Association, talking about how he knows that Raptors are not happy on the team earlier this season. Shut the fuck up, CJ. We're going to show you just how happy we are by kicking your ass tonight. I don't like it when somebody on another team starts commenting about our team like he thinks he knows what he's talking about. There was a lot of speculation when he said that it might be Gary Trent Jr. just because they used to play in Portland together and they have some connection. And there was some speculation he was talking about Fred VanVleet. Whatever it was, we don't care, CJ. We owe you one for having some out-of-pocket talking this season so far. So we need to kick their motherfucking ass just because CJ McCollum's talking shit. So fuck you, CJ McCollum, trying to spread rumors that the Raptors have internal problems and people that aren't happy on this team. You were part of the stupid-ass red sauce noise this season around our team and the bullshit. So, yeah, I want to kick their ass just because of CJ. Excuse me. All right, Tom Duke is here. Game day. Let's go. Healthy and back for another unique OG interview. Sure mentioned big man Koloko a few times, comparing his impact to Jakob. I'm certain he wants to encourage our future big man. Yeah, OG had an interesting interview. He's a little weird, but it sounds like he's ready to go. Yeah, and he was mentioning Koloko. He's like, if y'all are going to talk about Jakob, you better talk about Koloko also. That's good. Koloko's not in Windy City. He's with the big squad, and so is Jeff Doughton Jr. So, and meanwhile, Delano and Ron Harper Jr. are in Windy City playing for Raptors905. So, yeah, Koloko will be there. Let's look at our injury report since you brought up how healthy we are. We do have actually a couple of people listed. Obviously, Otto's out. But also questionable for tonight. They said that he expected these guys to play, but because they're questionable today, we'll have to see. Thaddeus Young is questionable today, and so is OG. But Gary is not listed, so Gary Trent Jr. is going to be available for sure. Yeah, it's cool. Like those interviews yesterday for practice were pretty good. Siakam talking about, I'm just always me, and I'm just coming back doing work. It was fun to go on vacation just a little bit after the All-Star game. All that kind of fun. They asked Siakam about the camcorder and his All-Star weekend. And he said, yeah, I have people in my group that, help me set up my weekend at All-Star. And I'm really happy with what they did. It wasn't totally his ideas, of course, is what he said. But, yeah, it was fantastic. And he had a lot of fun. And it was very much on purpose to try and get those allusions to the past with Shaq and the camcorder at All-Star weekend. So, yeah, Siakam, you're awesome, and good to see you back at work and fresh and smiling at the practice interview yesterday. Nick Nurse, a lot of interesting things in his practice interview yesterday, talking about changes with this team, trying out things and different stuff we can expect coming up. And, yeah, these guys are serious. They need to start winning like crazy. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. I believe in them myself. I think they can do it. I think they can kick some ass and get in the 6th seed. But I'm going to tell you right now, the media doesn't. I'm going to tell you, all these motherfuckers, they doubt them. They doubt them. Alex Wong doubts them. Will Liu doubts them. All these people on TV, they doubt the Raptors and their ability to do this. They don't understand. This is a different team. This is not the same team that it was before the trade deadline. We've got Jakob Poeltl, and this is going to have a huge impact. So I'm going to take my credibility and put it right here and say it right now. I don't doubt them. I do not doubt them. I know they're going to win, and they're going to kick ass, and they're going to get that 6th spot. Fred said it the other day. That's what he wants. I believe Fred. When Fred says something like that, I believe him, and I have no reason not to believe him. So I really very much do believe the Raptors are going to be successful in this last stretch of games, even though they say it's the 3rd hardest stretch. See, they're trying all this propaganda to make us pessimistic and feel like we don't have a chance. Well, as Seymour Pate would say, well, are you saying we have a chance? Yes, we do have a chance, and I don't doubt them. I really, really don't. And some people are going to doubt them right now, and they're going to be a little bit of chicken littling really quickly, like on a hair trigger, because it's such a precarious situation they're in with their season that as soon as they fail in just a little bit in this last stretch, people are going to be like, yeah, I knew they weren't going to win. I knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. I knew they were going to do this. Okay, thank you. We knew that you were fucking not a fan, because that's what I'm rooting for, is for them to kick some motherfucking ass to get that playoff spot. You damn right. So I ain't going the way of these pessimistic media types that think that they don't believe in them. They're looking at the stats. They're looking at what they've done so far. Oh, they've only had 3-game winning streaks all year, and they've been against shitty teams. Fuck all that shit. We're bucking the trends. We're coming to get what's rightfully been ours this whole season, and that's being a top Eastern Conference team. It doesn't matter if we came there late. Sometimes you can be a late bloomer and still do very, very well. So, yeah, that's how I feel about this. Very, very, very much feel about this. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying. Mike is here, Logical Raptors Fanatic. Salute the real ones. Project Truth always, Mike. Keep the truth out there, especially when the truth is telling us. Don't get all excited, Raptor fans, because you're probably going to fail still, is what they're trying to tell us on the media. Don't fucking listen to them. Listen to me. And have no doubt in Fred VanVleet and company. We're coming to take it. And we're going to start tonight with New Orleans. That's right. Mike's saying last time we didn't have Precious or Poeltl, so is OG getting beat off that playoff JV high-low to Zion blast, cutting the holes made by JV after rolling high or staying low when Birch wasn't in. Yeah, Yeah, I think I remember that. Okay, that you just reminded me that Precious wasn't there either. Yeah. So who did we have? Koloko? We had Birch. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They tore us up. That's why you guys can't base anything from the first Pelicans game on tonight's game because there's reinforcements on the Raptors side this time. Nameless is saying, I'm so excited to see Yak more integrated in our system with all that time off to study. Yeah, yeah. Listen, he may have studied a bit over the break. I don't know. He was in Mexico. Could have done that. Could very well have done that. Maybe not. Maybe he just naturally knows. It's like a prodigy. Somebody picks up a guitar and they can just play Eddie Van Halen solos all of a sudden. Maybe he just inherently has it. Maybe he doesn't have to study. Maybe he just already knows what he's doing. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think he's going to be fine. You know, it is a special case. This isn't a normal integration of a player into a team. This is a very quickly, fast-paced, going to happen quicker just because of familiarity and chemistry that is already there. So, yeah, it's going to be good. Banana Bread 10 saying the amount of BS around the Raptors, people have been jealous of our youth for a couple of years. Us getting Jakob over the critics probably has to do with Jakob himself desiring Toronto over Boston. Yeah, for sure. I'm bet you money. I said this a couple weeks ago. Popovich probably said, Jakob, would you like to go to Boston or Toronto? Just like Malcolm Brogdon got asked this last year, and they put it on blast in articles. Well, why didn't you fucking put this one on blast, media? That maybe Popovich came to Jakob Poeltl and said, do you want to play for Boston or Toronto? And he said, I want to play for Toronto. Well, that doesn't fit your narrative of Boston over Toronto, does it, NBA? So you ain't going to put that on blast? That Jakob Poeltl picked Toronto over Boston? Yeah, I don't think you are putting that on blast because it's not a success or a victory for them. It's a victory for us. So, yeah, you don't put that on blast. I will. He did have that choice, and they had a package, and they did want him. The Celtics did want Poeltl. Well, he's in a Raptor jersey, and that's what I'm going to say about that. Yeah. You know, people have jealousy about the Raptors. They want Masai. They want Nick. They want OG. They want Scottie. They want Freddie. They want all our good guys. So there is definitely a jealousy out there. Tom Duke is saying we win and their disrespect will be pronounced. Glad you feel that way about our team, Lex. Yeah, I'm sick of this. I don't want you to prognosticate for me if you got a bad prognostication, motherfucker, Wongstradamus. I don't want none of this shit if you ain't going to tell me what I want to hear. I want to know that they got a chance and you believe in them. That's what I want to know. I believe in them. I hope that most of the Raptor freaks believe in them. Why are you a fan if you don't want to believe in your team for the best and ultimate success that they could possibly get? Then what's the point? Why are you wasting your time? Then, well, go ahead and root for them. Yeah, I love them, but I don't think they're very good, so I don't think they're going to make it. Oh, my gosh. What? I mean, maybe you're being realistic, maybe. Or maybe you're just not excited about Jakob Poeltl. Maybe you're not. Maybe that's what it is. Let me do a review of the Raptors905 game from last night. They did lose. They're now 500, 9-9 for the season. They do get redemption, hopefully, tonight to play the Windy City Bulls once again, 2 nights in a row. So hopefully they can win this one. But, yeah, they lost last night in a disappointing game, 110 to 114. Our guy off the bench, Morsel, player of the game with his career high, 7-11 from the field. This young guard played really well. He's one of the latest additions for our 905 team. He had 18 points in 22 minutes, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 blocks. It was really a block party for the 905 last night. They got like 13 blocks and 11 steals. Fantastic defense, causing a lot of turnovers, but the shooting was too kind of even, and then they made up more on free throws, and also they outboarded us. They actually won the boards, the Bulls, against us. My other 2 stars of the game are Ron Harper Jr. stepped up. He was 5 for 9 from 3-point range, which is fantastic. 7-12 overall, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 19 points, plus 7. Ron Harper Jr. once again showing that he stuffs the stat sheet full of stuff with 3 steals and 3 blocks, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. What's not to like about that, Ron? You look very multidimensional in a game like last night, 7-12. Fantastic game by Harper Jr. And then the third star is the other recent acquisition, Tillman Jr. He's the center, 17 points, 6 of 8 from the field, 5 rebounds. And I would pick maybe Delano also. He had 16 points, but he didn't shoot as well. 6 of 15, and he had 3 turnovers, but he did get a double-double, 16 points, 10 assists, and 2 steals and a block, 5 rebounds. Not a bad game by Delano, just that he shot a lot and he missed a lot too. David Johnson, 6 of 13, 14 points, but he was a minus 13, the worst plus minus on the team. And then off the bench, nothing really of note. Gabe Brown got 5 points, Epps had 6, Hollins 4, and Ryan Hawkins 2 points. So yeah, not a good effort by the 905 in the end. They were beaten by Raptor replacement player last year, Daniel Oturu. He was 9 of 12 and 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 19 points. And then there's a Simonovic for them. And Pargo, they had a guy named Pargo that's younger, and then a guy named Jones that killed him. 28 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds, 10 of 25 shooting for Jones. But they'll get their second chance against the 905, against the Windy City Bulls tonight. So 905, make a better outcome for the game tonight. Now, let me do your refs for that game tonight in Windy City. Tyler Merkovich is once again the referee. They're just keeping the same guy for the crew chief. Kelsey Reynolds and Teresa Stuck are the other 2 referees for the 905 game tonight in Windy City. 8 o'clock is the tip-off for that one. So both games will be going at the same time. So be ready for double action. If you got 2 screens, put them on both screens, or just watch the Raptors and check out the highlights of 905 later. Stuff like that. Yeah. Shane Waters is saying, morning, freaks. I personally can't wait to see us face Cleveland in the first round as the 5th seed. Bam, bam, Shane Waters. Bam, bam. I want to see Cleveland. I want to see Philadelphia. Yeah, bring them on. If we have to play Milwaukee, so be it. Bring on whoever out of that side of the playoffs. I want to play one of those teams because I want to get some get back. Beat them down. Cool Cats here. Good morning, Raptor Free Crew. So excited going to the game tonight. We start the grind for W's to make the playoffs. Here we come, folks. Yeah, it's very, very important to get off on the good foot. Yeah, James Brown, get up on the good foot. Go down there and get on the good foot and get that W tonight and get closer to 500. Get closer to that 5th or 6th seed and just start jumping over some of these teams that are going to maybe have a little bit of problems. You know, Atlanta changing their coach. They're above us. They should fall below us. You know, we're going to play Washington real soon. We can play them and control our destiny to a degree by kicking their ass 2 games in a row. So beat Washington, push them down lower than us. And then New York, yeah, we all know nobody has faith in y'all. Y'all gonna fuck up. And we're going to come up and take your spot and move up into your spot. Yeah, because we know the Knicks will find some way to fail. They always do. Fiercesty's here. Good morning, fam. Let's get back to cooking tonight. Yes. All right. Well, speaking of cooking, since Fiercely brought this up, let's go see the ref report real quick for tonight's game here in Toronto and see what we got to get cooked up here. David Guthrie is our lead ref tonight. He is from Athens, Georgia, but currently lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's his 19th season as an NBA ref. His favorite TV show is The West Wing. His favorite movie is that one with Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, and they're in prison. You know which one I'm talking about. I might describe it a little bit. Yeah, they're trying to get out. There's some life lessons, stuff like that. Shawshank Redemption. That's right. His favorite musician is, all right, let me think of a good one of their songs. Ooh, witchy woman. The Eagles. That's right. Don Henley, Glenn Fry, Joe Walsh. The Eagles is his favorite musician. So maybe we'll play some Eagles over the PA tonight at the Scotiabank Arena. His favorite book is The Match. His favorite app is PGA Tour. He'd most like to visit Hawaii. He'd like to play golf at Augusta National. And he likes hitting the fungos. This guy is the baseball guy again. We remember that David Guthrie liked to play baseball, and he's all about hitting fungos. And he played minor league baseball in the Cincinnati Reds organization with stints in Princeton, West Virginia, Billings, Montana, Charleston, West Virginia, and Chattanooga, Tennessee. So he was a minor league baseball player, David Guthrie. His meal is going to be steak, whipped potatoes, and broccoli. Very specific meal. We've got some side dishes with the big steak there. So David Guthrie, our crew chief, out of the 3 refs, he's kind of in the middle. We win 51% of the time when he's refereeing. We did win the last game he ref for us this season. And meanwhile, New Orleans wins 44% of the time. So we actually have that split 51-44 in favor of the Raptors with crew chief David Guthrie. Our second ref, this is the thing. We got an older ref that's about a 20-year ref, but then we've got 2 very young refs out there also. So this crew is going to be a little inexperienced. Ray Acosta is the second ref. He's in his 6th season. He lives in Lake Worth, Florida. His favorite TV show is Woke Up This Morning, Got Myself a Good. The Sopranos. That's right. Tony Soprano. And his favorite movie is let me think of a good one. You got to get the money, the cars, the guns. I don't know. The power. Scarface is his favorite movie. So he's in a gangster, like mafioso stuff. Ray Acosta, The Sopranos, and Scarface, his favorite. And his favorite musician is Ben. The two of us know no more. Michael Jackson is his favorite musician. His favorite book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. His favorite app is Netflix. Is it still Ray Acosta? Is it still? I don't know. Would most like to visit Fiji. His bucket list is to be in a shark tank surrounded by great white sharks in Australia. His hidden talent is dancing. And his meal will be anything Italian. He's saying anything Italian. You can just go get him some SpaghettiOs or some Chef Boyardee if he's just going to say anything Italian, because technically that's what it is, Italian. Get him some Chef Boyardee. Off the court, Ray Acosta enjoys working out, traveling, going to the movies, and attending concerts. So I wonder if he goes to concerts for like Michael Jackson. Well, not Michael Jackson anymore, but a concert, and he dances at the concert, probably. Ray Acosta is our worst ref for today. We win only 50% of the time, and we lost our last game when he refed. We are 7-7 with him as a referee, a record. Well, New Orleans' record is 7-7 also. It's exactly split right down the middle and exactly the same amount of games. 7-7 for us and 7-7 for New Orleans. Ray Acosta is right down the line at 500 on all accounts. It's crazy. But yeah, we did lose the last game with him. And he is technically our worst ref tonight. Andy Nagy is our third ref. He's in his 4th season. He's from Toledo, Ohio. He now resides in Sylvania, Ohio. His favorite TV show is Dun Dun Dun. Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David. His favorite musician is Dun 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 Dun. Every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. ZZ Top, of course. His favorite app is Amazon. He'd most like to visit the Maldives. His bucket list is to get a hole-in-one. His favorite talent is a barbecue expert. He would like some filet mignon. So we got 2 steak guys and an Italian guy here. Let's see. Nagy is the referee that started reffing when he was 14 years old. So, yeah, Andy Nagy is our nicest ref today. We win 58% of the time when he's around. We won the last game that he refereed. And the New Orleans Pelicans only win a quarter of their games, 25% winning percentage under him. So 58-25 Andy Nagy split for us. So the ref crew is pretty impartial overall, but slightly favoring us. And as I said, they're young. So we got David Guthrie, who's going to be running things. He's pretty fair. He hasn't pissed me off too much this season. He can be a little irritated at times and kind of get a little feisty. But for the most part, he's a pretty fair ref. And then the 2 young guys will probably just toe the line underneath his direction. So it really is going to be the David Guthrie show tonight with 2 younger, more inexperienced refs reffing underneath him. So there's your ref report for today. Yeah. There's the cooking. We need some steaks. We need some Italian, some Chef Boyardee. Nameless is saying Harper had a great game from range last night. Yeah, 5 of 9 from 3 is nothing to laugh at. And then 3 steals and 3 blocks. Ooh, I love those extras. That's good defensive stuff too. And he got some rebounds and assists. Yeah, Ron Harper is a multi-purpose all-around player. And that's something that I liked about him. It's just he's been coming on stronger and stronger as the season's gone on. In the beginning of the season in Summer League, we didn't really see anything special from him. But more recently, he's taken more initiative, and he has very much been doing amazing things by like filling the stat sheet. Troy Henry saying, "Game day, let's go, fam! Caribbean night. I'm pumped up as a Jamaican myself. Wagwan, man! Yes, and not only that, it's National Patty Day, guys, here in Toronto. So eat some Jamaican patties in celebration of Toronto Patty Day here in Toronto, and also it's Caribbean Heritage Night tonight." And with the roots of a lot of our young Raptors, Scottie Barnes, Delano Banton, and many of the others, Chris Boucher, with the Caribbean, it's very much an important heritage night for the Raptors themselves. They talked about the culture, the people, the food, the joy. And I love this celebration of this night. In fact, I'm going to be eating patties from all meals today for lunch and dinner. So I got my patties ready, and I'm going to be eating those Jamaican patties in celebration of today's holiday and event tonight. I love it. Leslie's here. Good to see Leslie Hart, a long-standing great Raptor freak on this channel. They want everyone, including Nick Nurse, Dr. Alex, in our house, keeping staff. Yeah, they do. Oh, Dr. Alex is another one I've always forget to mention. Yeah, Kawhi. If Kawhi could get Dr. Alex to come out to the Clippers, oh, he'd be so happy. He'd be so happy. And you know what? I'll bet you our housekeeping staff is very highly sought after. I would bet. I don't want to sully them either. We have the best excellence at all levels. The popcorn makers, the program sellers, the housekeeping, everybody. The ultimate level, MLSC. I know. I used to work for them. We'd have the best people involved. So, yeah, they probably do want our housekeepers. They probably do. Logical saying, Leslie, facts. If we didn't have MLSC, Rogers Bell money, they would have overpaid and got them. Jama got a massive contract offer from Golden State to lure him away. It was a lot of money beyond logic for us. Well, also, Jama probably wanted another level up as far as like that's sometimes what it is. It's like same thing with Patrick Mutombo going to the Suns. Is like, you get to a certain level with the Raptors. Well, somebody may be offering you a little bit of a promotion as far as like, okay, you're the 905 coach, Patrick. But if you come to Phoenix, you will be like the second assistant on the bench behind Monty Williams. Oh, I like that. That's attractive. All right, I'm coming. It's that kind of stuff. They probably did throw a bag at Jama too, for sure. But yeah, it's always like looking up for, movements where you get promoted slightly in the next staff as far as your pecking order and the coaches. And that's really what those guys were doing is getting up higher on the pecking order of other teams. And yeah, they've been doing very well. And they have been brain drain loss for us on our team. But Mutombo did a great job with 905 last season. And, Curry isn't doing as well as he did in some ways. And then you got Jama, who knew all this stuff. It was really good with our development. And now all those secrets and things about us have gone to Golden State and their brain trust with Steve Kerr. Ugh, I hate that. But it's really hard to retain good talent. It's going to go places. Now, let me talk about this for a second because some people are speculating, worrying about the situation with Atlanta because they fired Nate McMillan. Some people are worried that they may turn around and try and steal one of our assistant coaches. In fact, one that may be the father of one of their young players. And in some ways, that kind of makes sense that we should be worried about them stealing one of our doctor coaches, Dr. Adrian Griffin. Because, Atlanta could turn around and make a nice offer to him. And then all of a sudden he gets to coach his son. So, yeah, I am a little worried about Atlanta poaching one of our assistant coaches. If not Adrian Griffin, that makes the most sense. But Earl Watson even, maybe, something like that. We'll have to monitor the Atlanta thing. But they did just give an interim title to one of the existing assistant coaches. So this may be something that happens this summer. And not right away right now. But the fears of Raptors fans that they may poach one of our coaches should be very real because that's an open head coaching vacancy. And in some ways, Adrian Griffin coaching his son makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't want to keep them apart. If this is what Adrian Griffin wanted to do and go coach the Atlanta Hawks and his son, AJ, I would not try and stop him. I would allow him to go do that because it's cool. And it would expand Nick Nurse's coaching tree. You don't want to keep families separated. If he wants to coach his son, let him go coach his son. It's very interesting, that situation. Monique is here. Superfan Monique Lawrence is here. Good morning, everyone, and happy game day. We still need to shut down CJ's threes and JV. Let's go. Yeah, we can't let CJ do nothing, especially he was talking out of pocket this season. And I know Monique is going down the game just like Cool Cat. So you guys bring that good vibe energy and kick some ass tonight, Raptors. Woo! I want to beat the Pelicans tonight. Yes, I do. Nameless is saying Sopranos is the only show I can watch over and over and over and over and over again. Don't matter how many times. Yeah, it's one of those shows where you could watch it a couple times through, and you can pick up on stuff every single time that you may have not noticed. It's very layered with all kinds of subtext and all kinds of stuff in it. And you could actually watch it and be like, holy shit, I never noticed that's part had this little thing in there and this dialogue or whatever. Yeah, it's a great show. I haven't watched it in 20 years or so. Maybe I need to revisit it since Nameless has recommended it. All right, let's see. Tom Duke has got the steak and potato. He's got a clown face and some spaghetti. And then he's got a clown face and some steak and potato. And he's got more clown face for them. And he's laughing his ass off while he's bringing it out. Well, I hope they're not clowns. I really do kind of like this crew. Andy Nagy's been okay to us. And Ray Costa's not any kind of these guys. I don't have any anger towards these guys. They haven't screwed us over. David Guthrie's probably got the highest ranking of anger towards, but that's only because he gets sassy and angry on the court. But he has very much shown me that he's on the level and that he will make tough decisions right down the line that don't fade either team. So I'm not really worried about this ref crew in some ways about a hit job. They just need to be careful. If they start throwing fouls at us, all of a sudden a blitz over a 2-minute span, and all of a sudden we're in the penalty, and the other team's getting to shoot a lot of free throws early in the fourth quarter, or even earlier in the game. Sometimes they bring that ref hit job of a lot of calls against us in a row, fast, earlier in the game, like they did in the second quarter in a recent game too. So we just got to withstand any possible ref, weird, period of time where they're calling everything against us in a row. It was offensive fouls on us, and then they're giving them touch fouls and getting them on the line. They're putting so many fouls on us that we're in the penalty, or they're putting specifically a lot of fouls on one individual Raptor and getting them in foul trouble. These are the kind of things you want to look out for rep manipulation wise. But I think this crew is pretty fair. I think they really are. At least I hope I'm not going to eat my words. Let me knock on wood for that, please, just in case. Let's see. Greg's here. Starting five. Greg, this is a great question. Check out the Jubstown Clink. Always good stuff dropping all the time. Greg, I've been seeing your a lot of your shorter clips and stuff on the Joe Wieskamp and stuff. Yeah, you know what? I think it's going to be, well, it depends on if OG's back. Really does. They're saying he's questionable, but if everybody's absolutely healthy, like they promised us 2 days ago, which I think they're probably going to hold out one guy, and it could be very well OG. But who knows? He did the interview yesterday, and it sounded like he's probably going to play. I think it'll be Fred, Scottie, OG, Pascal, and Jakob. Jakob to match up with Poeltl. Now, if we didn't, Jakob to match up with Valančiūnas. Now, if we didn't have somebody like Valančiūnas on the other side, maybe they don't start Jakob tonight. But I think it's smart. You got to have Jakob out there for Valančiūnas right away. And then, yeah, I think you got to give your veterans, the guys that have been around the longest, to get the most burn and get those chances. Gary and Precious are still young players. And in some ways, they're kind of, at bench mob age, just like Pascal and Fred and Jakob were from before. So in some ways, that is how I look at it. Scottie should always start. And you just put him out there with that 4 veteran former bench mob guys, with OG coming back in as a new person. So that's the way I look at it. We'll see if I'm right and see what Nick does. Randolph is saying, beloved Raptor freaks, most informative gang. Greetings on this game day. A lot to look forward to tonight. There should be no drop off with our team progress, baby. Yes. I love it. And blessings back to you, Randolph and the Phillips family. Yeah, I'm excited. This has been a long break, and I think we're very much looking forward to Thursday night and wanting to get back to work. I think the players are the same way too. That, the break is nice, and they did get some time to rest up and heal and get better. But they are excited about the new center, and they probably want to discover more and compete more with him around. It's probably fun again to play. When you lose a lot, it can wear you down and make it not that as fun to play. Well, when you have a chance to win and you feel like you have a good chance to win, it's more fun to be competitive and get out there and really compete. And I feel like that's where they're at this point. In some ways, they want to make up for the deficit, obviously, with the record. but also the deficit of feeling like losers this season. They got to get that winning feeling and feeling like more like winners. And well, tonight is very important to start the after break on the right foot. And New Orleans is no slouch. They are a very talented team with a lot of good young players. So this will be a good battle. Mike saying respect, Greg, for the shout out. Saw effect from it. Nice. Yeah. I got a little bump too in the last couple days. So if anybody put me on blast, I appreciate it. Yeah, I did get a little bump too. Let's see. Banana Bread Tan saying unbelievers need to check out check their vocabulary. Fan comes from fanatic, i.e., not needing reasonableness to press on in belief. Sad existence to be a realistic fanatic. Well, this is just kind of conditioning as a Toronto sports fan. This is the thing. We've got a lot of longtime older sports fans in this city that have rooted for the Leafs and the Blue Jays and different sports teams around our city that have let them down. That, they're jaded to a degree. The average Toronto sports fan, not the average Raptors fan, I'll say the average Toronto sports fan is jaded. Is somebody who doesn't necessarily want to believe because they've been let down so much. So they very much have the attitude is I'll believe it when I see it. So it's not like they'll believe ahead of time in faith. They'll believe it afterwards and say, yeah, I'm so glad they won. I was supporting them all along. Well, did you believe in them? Did you believe they could do it? Were you a part of that rooting them on to do it and make it? Or were you somebody who was kind of like, yeah, they're mid. They're never going to make it. They should just tank for Wemby. Why are they doing all this? Why are they trying? They need to tank for Wemby. See, it's kind of like you can switch. And that's what I'm saying. I love your comment, though, Banana Bretan, because it's true. If you want to be a fan of a team, you should root for them to win, even if you're one of the worst teams in the league. Cleveland Brown fans are delusional, but they still root for their team. So let them root for their team, the Browns fans, Monique saying, in a nail-wrenching loss. Happy for Ron, though. Can't wait to celebrate my Jamaican roots. You go down there, Monique, and celebrate your Jamaican roots at the game tonight at Caribbean Heritage Night. Fantastic. I love that. Troy Henry saying, Westbrook at Clippers. What do y'all think? Even though I don't care, really. Troy, I care to a degree because I care about Norman and Kawhi. And I want them to do well. I think it's an upgrade over John Wall. John Wall's weird. He's a weird wash at this point. And obviously he didn't work out because they let him go. They barely played him. It was really, really weird what was going on with John Wall there. I don't know what's going to happen with him. That dude maybe needs to retire, John Wall. It's just a sad case that that's just where it is with your career. Now, Russell, this is his last chance too. I think that if things go really bad with the Clippers, and it doesn't fit, he's going to be tarnished as somebody. He's the problem, and nobody's going to want to take a chance on him. He showed up at the Clippers practice yesterday with a huge grin on his face. In fact, it was the happiest I've seen Russell Westbrook in probably about 5 or 6 years. And he was very much looking like he's ready to come in and try and do some damage with them. They're going to say they're going to start him, which is very interesting. We got to remember he has a lot of connection with Paul George, that him and Paul George very much have played together and they get along and they play well together. So that's in their favor for this to help work this out with him being on the Clippers. I don't know. In some ways, I'm rooting for them. If they have to play the Lakers at any point, I'm rooting for the Clippers to beat them. Because in some ways, I want Russell to get some get back at the Lakers for the bullshit that he went through the last couple of years with them. So it's very interesting situation. I don't know. This is the kind of thing where it's 50-50 to me. It's like it actually could really work. And if any team is going to work on in this whole entire league, it's the Clippers. So if Russell has any place in this league at this point, it may be on that team, and that's it. Because I don't know if he would even work back in Washington at this point. It would just be a weird retread at this point. So him being on the Clippers is very intriguing. It could go either way. But I think that they're going to be successful. Honestly, I think they're going to do well and they're going to make some noise and they're going to surprise some people. In fact, I have more faith in them because their roster build in LA for the Clippers is more defensive oriented than a team like Phoenix or Dallas with their big acquisitions of getting KD and Kyrie. That those teams don't have good defensive teams, but the Clippers can have a good defensive team because they've got Kawhi, they've got Zubac, they've got a couple of really important defensive pieces. They can do defensive things when they need them to do them in the playoffs. We know Kawhi Leonard has another level of play in the playoffs. And that if he is healthy and he is playing in the playoffs, he is dangerous. And he can fuck up that whole Western Conference real quick. And if he has really talented guys like Russell and Paul next to him, yeah, the Clippers can be a real serious problem for the Western Conference. I love it. Thank you for the question, Troy. And yeah, I'm rooting for Russell to a degree right now. I think that he's been sullied and damaged his reputation the last couple of years with the Lakers and LeBron. Well, let's see him get some redemption. I like to see him come back and get some shine. Dr. Good Vibes is here. What time is the game? The game tonight is 7:30. It's our regular Scotiabank time. If you're going to the game, please get down there early. You know, the weather is bad. We got a lot of snow on the ground here in Toronto right now. So maybe allow for extra time to get there. We want to have a good crowd energy down there. No loafing. And we want people to be loud right from the beginning. We want to be a part of the factor of helping them by rooting them on and making a loud building environment for our team. And to me, that means when Pelicans have that ball, that we are chanting defense at the top of our lungs and making our building as loud as possible for it to make it hard for them to operate on the offensive end. So very much get loud if you get in the building, and defense as much as possible. Seriously, it helps. And the Raptors, it feeds their energy. They'll have a little bit more gumption on the defensive end of getting after it and staying energized and active on that end of the court when the whole crowd is yelling defense at them. Trust me. Yeah, 7:30. I think that is right, MSJ. 4:30 Pacific time for Tom Duke and the guys. In some ways, when I think about I should say it's 4:30 time. That makes me feel like it's sooner. If I think, the game's at 4:30. Yeah, but Tom's time, not your time, Lex. Okay, but it's still at 4:30. It's very soon. Yes. All right. Let's see. Tom's question is, will OG get over 15 to 20? Sounds like he is ready. You know, they asked some weird question to him. He's like, how is your game going to be affected with Jakob being around all of a sudden? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, are you saying that you think he's going to take shots away from me or something? No, it's not anything like that. OG's going to get what he gets naturally in the system, and they may call his name and his number at points. I don't know what OG's going to score tonight. See, this is the thing. OG could be on any kind of range here. He could not actually play tonight. There is a chance. I think out of all the guys, if somebody is not playing tonight, it will be OG. But hopefully he will be playing. I don't know. We should temper our expectations. He's been out for a while. He's missed like 9 games or so. We need to let him ease back in, and that is very much what Nick Nurse said. So it could be very well that he doesn't even start tonight, that we do start somebody like Precious in his spot, and OG is coming off the bench just because his first game back. So we'll have to see. We'll see what he says and what he's saying and stuff. Banana Bread Tan said Fred, Scottie, OG, Pascal, and Poeltl, and Flynn, Gary, Young, Boucher, and Precious off the bench. Yeah. That's how I see it. Now, I don't know if Flynn will continue to get a lot of minutes, and I don't know if Young will either. I think that those other 3 guys will, and it could be very well be maybe take Young out and put Koloko in there, or maybe take Flynn out and put Jeff Doughton in there. You never know. Those 2 other spots, to me, Banana Bread Tan, are flexible. For sure, Gary, Precious, and Chris as the first 3 guys off the bench. But then, and maybe you cater it to your needs. Maybe it's Juancho. Maybe it's Delano. You know, those other 2 spots out of the 10-man rotation can be like fluid and kind of like on a game-by-game basis. And they cannot have to be the same every time. So I don't know if we're going to get to see Thad Young with everybody healthy as much as we've seen. In fact, he may be like a veteran just backup to fill minutes when somebody's hurt. And he may not be playing as much when we're fully healthy. G saying OG sounded great in his interview. Most detail he gave in his answers. Yeah, he seems determined and he seems focused. And I like that. All right, he said he was very lucky that he didn't have to have surgery. That injury, he didn't really understand everything about it. They were asking him questions like, I don't really know the details of it. But he was saying, I'm very lucky. I could have been out for more weeks because it could have been broken, and it could have been that I needed surgery. So we did dodge some bullets with the way he awkwardly fell that day on his arm. It was pretty bad. Callie saying, so excited to see the whole gang together. Let's see what we can do. Missed watching my team. Yeah, I think we've all missed it. We really have. So what's the point? What was this Utah All-Star bullshit? Let's just keep playing. I always feel like that around the All-Star break. I feel like we have good momentum right when the All-Star break happens. And then I'm like, fuck. Why do we have to take a break? I don't want to. Can we continue to just play? Can we just not do the All-Star break, please? Please, please. I'm excited too. And it really is the whole team together. And in some ways, this is the whole team for the first time this whole season together. because Poeltl wasn't here before, and OG's returning finally to be playing next to him. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll look really good, and we dominate, and we play really well as a team. We out-Raptor them. Obviously, we want to be the scrappier team that gets after it, gets more steals, gets to more rebounds, gets blocked shots, does everything better than them. We just outplay them, out-hustle, outwork them, Raptors. In fact, this is what you guys may need to do every night for the rest of the season. You have to have that characteristic. You have to be the team that works harder, that hits the ground first, that gets after the 50-50 balls first, that goes and gets those boards off the board first, Chris Boucher, like you have been doing. You keep doing that. We got to get those loose balls first. And you know what? We're going to make more shots because of Jakob being around, so our shooting percentage should be better, and we should not have any of these offensive droughts where we don't score for like 4 or 5 minutes in the game. There's no reason for that, Nick. If you ever feel like if you get 2 minutes into a drought, you give that ball to Jakob down low and let him make one of those high percentage 60% shots right near the basket, like he went 15 and 17 in the last game before this break. We know he's a relief valve for problems with an anemic offense. You go ahead, give him the ball. He'll put it in the basket, and then boom, all of a sudden you broke the drought. And I really do want to see that, Nick. If we see any kind of weird 5-minute drought and you're not giving the ball to Jakob, I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? He's the guy who gets you out of it. Just throw it to him. Yes. Let's see. Mike's saying, Logical Raptors fanatic, Tan, a realistic defined by them is actually over-criticizing to the point of believing there's one perfect way to play basketball and can't expand beyond that point to understand no player is perfect. Yeah, I mean, there is some to that. You know, some people are perfectionists. They have to have everything perfect. And that's part of the reason why they get so frustrated with the team when they're not perfect and winning every single game. It's really, really weird. And in some ways, they have an idealized idea of what perfect basketball is. And they can't open their mind to the realm of possibility that, you know what, we could play an ugly style of basketball that wins all the time. We don't have to be the better shooting team. We don't have to look good. We can win ugly. And in some ways, people criticize the team when we win ugly, not knowing that that is part of our strategy. That the ugliness is just a byproduct of some of the styles of play that we play with, and that it's just going to be that way. That there's going to be bad, easy baskets for the other team because we cheat and gamble on defense. That's just part of the system with Nick Nurse, and why he wants to do it is very sound and smart, and it does work. But there's going to be humiliating bad looks to it, because we are going to get completely beat, and it's going to look bad visually because of how bad we got beat. But that is part of the system that Nick wants to do, with the contact them and go get aggressive, overplay, get after it. And, well, you get beat sometimes. It's going to look bad. And those perfectionists will say, well, that's a horrible defense if that's allowing that all the time. Well, do you see the byproduct in the positive way? That how much turnovers we cause and how many points we manufacture from playing that way. So maybe we go down the court and we're successful 2 out of 3 times, but there's that one time we get burned and they get a lob, layup, or dunk, something like that. You know, that's the thing. You know, you got to expend your mind for a realm of failure within, because a little bit of failure can still add up to a lot of winning in some ways. Greg saying the description above about the Pelicans using Zion and big man above is great. Maybe we can do a little bullying back to them now with Jakob and the long arm monster. I think it'll be even. Like, if I'm handicapping this, Greg, I mean, that's Poeltl versus Valančiūnas. Valančiūnas is a really strong guy, and I don't think we're going to be able to bully them, but at least we want to keep a stalemate. If we can do that, I'll be happy, because we don't need them to dominate us like they did in the first game. That was really bad. So at least hold them like even is what I'm looking to do tonight, because that is a very even matchup, Poeltl with Valančiūnas. Forgetful saying, good morning. Is there a rumor we can start about why OG heralded Koloko yesterday? I don't know. People that want to take little threads and cause controversy out of nothing, they may bring it up and say that OG doesn't like Poeltl and that he likes Koloko more or something. It's all bullshit. I think that it's just that maybe OG's been talking to Koloko and working with him like they were after practice on Tuesday. And, you know, that maybe he wanted to push him a little bit more with his name. Maybe he's saying him a little bit more because he hopes that Nick will play him more. Who knows? There could be a couple reasons why he wanted to mention him by name a few times. Maybe he didn't want him to get overshined. Maybe he felt like Koloko felt like there's a shadow now because Jakob showed up. Maybe Koloko's having problems with feeling like confident because maybe he felt like, oh, I should have been the center. And now they feel like they need a center instead of me. So maybe OG's doing a nice thing of mentioning him. I don't know. There's all kinds of things it could be. Now, if they're going to start with an angle that it says something about him and Poeltl having a problem, that's bullshit because they're best friends. We know that. And they've always gotten along. And they have an established friendship that's very goofy and fun. So I think everybody knows that. Well, at least people like me and you guys, but some of the casuals may not know OG's closeness with Jakob. And they may hear that interview and they'll do this whole like Scottie versus Freddie kind of mindset of making bullshit up and say, oh, obviously OG has a problem with Poeltl because he's pushing Koloko so much. Yeah, it's silly. That's negative Windhurst thing. That's like, oh, well, if this is this, then this is this. That's negative Windhurst thing. I like the positive Windhurst instead of that. Yeah. Cool Cat saying Zion is out and our center can match up with their center. Hopefully OG returns. So we use our great defensive players for starter and bench. Nick Nurse seem to be chomping at the bit now. I don't like this article that Doug Smith has put out talking about how Nick Nurse is on the hot seat. I don't know if that's true, Doug. Seriously. In some ways, sure. If he completely fails and we don't do anything with Poeltl, yeah, maybe he is in trouble. But still, you shouldn't be putting that on blast. And honestly, you guys don't understand how ensconced he is with the Raptors and how much leash he actually probably has with Masai Ujiri. This is the one thing. We're not like the Atlanta Hawks. They're going to change their coach 4 coaches in the last 5 years. That's fucked up. You can't get any continuity or anything like that. That does not serve Trae Young and the rest of the young Hawks, having a different coach so much. So, and Masai knows this. We don't have a coaching carousel here. He picks people that he wants, and he gives them chances, a lot of chances. You look at how many chances he gave Dwayne Casey. Once again, I'll say this, Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. Look at how many times he gave Casey a chance, and he didn't even hire Casey. Casey was not somebody he hired or wanted. It was just the incumbent that was already on the team when he started working here at Masai. Well, he gave him 7 years of chances. So don't hold your breath on Nick Nurse being in the hot seat and him being in trouble, because if he gets the same kind of leash that Casey got, he's going to get like a lot of time to figure it out, and he can fail a bunch too. So yeah, anybody who thinks that Nick Nurse is going to get fired, you're idiots. And Doug Smith, your article is a little misinformative because seriously, besides said he's happy with the job he does. And even if he fucks up the end of the season, you may be surprised how much of a leash that Masai gives him for error. Let's see. G saying Scottie does not want to tank or lose. That would be disappointing to him. Yeah. None of these guys want to lose. In fact, Scottie, everything he said at All-Star Weekend was like he's positive. He believes in this team. We stuck together. We're ready to get back to it with Jakob, and we're ready to kick some ass. And you can really sense a feeling of optimism and hope in the Raptors and their body language, the way they're talking right now, and the way they feel. There is a confidence there underlying, saying that they really do believe they can turn this thing around and do some special things by the end of the season still. So, yeah, they believe. And that's what I was saying. Raptor fans believe just like the team does. They believe in themselves, and they believe they're going to go out there and do that. We need to believe in them, too, and support them and get loud at the arena tonight. Yeah. Tom Duke said, haha, forgetful. I've been waiting for the new negative narrative. Well, they go find whatever they can find. Tom Duke's got those rain clouds with the poison, death, ugliness in his emoticons there. Yeah, they're going to find little new narratives and stuff. They're like, they really are like Gargamel and the Smurfs. We're the Smurfs. We just want to live our life. La, 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 la. And then this motherfucker's in the castle with his cat, and he's like playing, Azrael, how can I ruin the Smurfs' lives? Ugh, I want their Smurf berries. These motherfuckers are concocting some shit in their Gargamel's castle, trying to figure out the next stupid-ass rumor or bullshit kind of thing they're going to put out there to try and cause dissension for our team. Yeah, we know that Gargamel shit is going on somewhere. Scheming and being ugly. Somewhere out there, they're doing it. Sheer Constant, with most injured players back this game, what sort of lineup should we expect from Nurse? I hope he stays big. Like, really, seriously, Nick, don't play Thad at center tonight. You do not need to do that. We do not want to see Thad Young playing the 5. He does not need to be playing that anymore. You've got centers, and all 3 of them are in Toronto tonight for New Orleans, and that is Jakob Poeltl, Precious Achiuwa, and Christian Koloko. And you can use these guys in different looks, but at least one of those 3 guys should always be on the court. If you don't have Jakob in there, you better have Precious in there. And if you don't have Jakob or Precious in there, you better have Koloko out there, is what I'm going to say to Nick Nurse. You got some rules, bro. As far as like the way I look at things with this, if you're going to have a big team like a Jonas Valančiūnas on the other side, you're going to need to keep a big guy out there all times. I'm sorry. Precious loves a challenge, and he can wrestle Jonas Valančiūnas for about 10, 15 minutes of the game, but you don't want him doing it for too much of the game. You need to have Poeltl out there maybe shadowing Valančiūnas' minutes. Maybe you pull and bring him in as you see Big V coming in. So that's what I would say. That probably would be the smartest thing to do, Shirkan, is to be very smart with how you play against Jonas. Is if you see Jonas Valančiūnas out there, make sure you have a center, Nick Nurse. And if they don't, then maybe you can get away with a no center lineup if that other team is not playing a center also. Nameless is saying, Lex, you use the Italian you've been practicing to pronounce Boiardi. Perfecto. You know, when I was a kid, it was always Chef Boyardee. Chef Boyardee. But I know it's Boyardi. And yeah, it's such a great Italian chef in the history of Italian chefs. He's one of the greatest, Chef Boyardee. All right, Dr. Good Vibes is here. Thanks, MSJ and Raptorsfreak. You're welcome, Dr. Good Vibes. And thank you for bringing that sunshine into our life. And keep on prescribing the good vibes. He's the one they call Dr. Good Vibes. He's the one to make you feel all right. Yeah, I love it. David's here. David's got that wrench, looking smart with it. Good morning. So happy to have B-Ball back. I hope, David, you're not having any chat messages filtered out by YouTube now that you've got that wrench. Yeah, MSJ is saying, let's see. Does kind of annoy me that these days players are out way too often due to injury. Is it me? I don't remember it like this in years past. You know, I've thought about this, MJ, in some ways, and this is something interesting. Kobe said, there's a quote going around saying that in like 20 years, people will be sitting for like the littlest thing. Nobody will like play with a sore ankle. Nobody will, everything they'll sit out. And in some ways, that's true. There's differing opinions. And in some ways, this has to do with the player. Anthony Edwards very recently came out and said, guys just need to show up and play. Y'all are fucking being losers and pansies. It was basically what he said. I'm not paraphrasing what he said exactly, but that was the message, that he's sick of his peers not playing in games because of load management. He's very much on the side that says these people pay money to come see y'all, and y'all ain't even showing up. This is a sport. This is a game. Kids play this, and we can show up and play this. Now, there's all kinds of talk about how they can fix this. Some people are saying that they need to take the money away from them for the games and not make it guaranteed, that they deduct pay for each missed game, and that will entice them to come out there. But how do you draw the line as far as like legitimate injuries where they can't play and how you don't pay them in that way? It's like, how do we know when it's a fake injury and they're just sitting for load management or not? It's such a hard situation to deal with. Because in some ways, it's you're really balancing long-term goals with short-term goals as far as like, this guy's kind of hurt, but if we don't play him and we get him rested, well, it shouldn't matter. And like, maybe we'll lose and this will help or whatever. There's always weird reasoning between why they sit guys. And I don't know, they do need to explore this a little bit better, but at least we know there are some players in the league that are anti-load management and they feel like they should show up and try and play no matter what. So it's not everyone in the league that is just like, yeah, I have Nintendo-itis. I need to go sit for a game. Okay, Kawhi. It's not everybody doing that. Anthony Edwards is a symbol of that. Him saying, I show up and play even if I'm hurt because I know the fans pay hard money to be here. So maybe more of the Raptors are like Anthony Edwards than Kawhi Leonard. I would hope so. That may be very good because I think that a lot of our guys do play hurt more than we think. And that, if they're not playing, maybe it's on precaution. Maybe it's more likely that it's like, I think the OG thing was very much precaution. There is a possibility he probably could have played some of it, but they wanted to make sure. And they were really erring on the side of caution. So that's kind of the balance. Is like, well, in today's day and age, you can detect so much more with imaging and x-rays and stuff. That maybe if you just see something slightly off, just to be safe, you're like, well, let's just hold you out just in case, OG. So I don't know. I don't know where that balance is. And in some ways, maybe teams will start psychoanalyzing players that come in because they're like, whether they're willing to play or not, whether they're hurt, because like old school players like Isaiah Thomas play with a broken hand, broken foot. People are playing with broken ribs. all kinds of crazy ass injuries back in the day. Well, these guys wouldn't even go near the court if they had these injuries. But maybe there are still players that would, like Anthony Edwards, and maybe you want to find them in the draft. And maybe they're more valuable because they're tough. Like, oh, he's not going to load manage on us because he really has a dedication to wanting to be on the court for the fans and playing. So in some ways, a young player may market themselves as more attractive to NBA teams to get drafted if they have that factor in them, that durability factor, where they are like, listen, I don't want to be load managed. I want to play every single game because I love playing. And I know these people pay hard-earned money and they show up. So that could be part of the psychological characteristic that they analyze coming in with the guys in the draft. Is this guy soft? Is he going to sit out all the time? Or is this guy going to lace it up even if he's kind of hurt? And that's very interesting. In some ways, I would be valuing guys that are like Anthony Edwards because, that's really good. So it's an interesting situation. I don't think there's any clear-cut answer for it. I think there's a case-by-case thing that you got to kind of do with it. Mike's saying every player ever has pros and cons. The greats minimize the cons, and that's true point of practicing over time and expanding tools to make sure people can't use things against you. Understanding this is key. Yeah, this is so true. You're going to have weaknesses. You want to hide them. You want to cover them up. Jakob Poeltl is not a perfect player. There are weaknesses to his game. But Nick Nurse and the rest of the team and Jakob are going to try and have game plans and ways to hide those weaknesses as much as possible. You do not want Jakob out there late in the game if they're going to try and force fouls and put people on the free throw line to close the game out. You will have to take him out. So that's a way you cover up a weakness. Look, Jakob, you can't play out there if they're fouling on purpose to try and catch up in a close game at the end because we know you'll probably miss some of these free throws. So, yeah, this is very true. And it's just understanding your personnel, and hopefully you have ways to cover up flaws and really enhance good things like pro things that are good for your team. Tom Duke saying, DeRozan said recently MVP candidates should play minimum 78 games. I like that. I think that's a good statement. I think that's true. I mean, that's interesting because that's only missing 4 games of the whole season. And that is very healthy season. I like that statement, and I don't think he's wrong in some ways because it is kind of silly to give it to somebody who maybe played like 50 games in the season or something like that. So I have no problem with that. Greg saying Precious and Malachi came out of last All-Star break getting increased run and performed well. Malachi got injured. Should we expect some more run for fringe players and Nick Nurse tinkering? Who? Yeah, I wonder, Greg. Hopefully Precious can have something similar to last season after the All-Star break and maybe even on top of what he did last season. That'd be fantastic. But he may not get that bump just because a lot of it did probably come from being at Rising Stars and being a part of the All-Star weekend. It may have emboldened his confidence knowing that he was one of the top Rising Stars in that game. So I don't know if this effect will happen again this time. But he did say he had a really nice break and it was very relaxing and he feels recharged coming back. So we'll have to see. Malachi I have no faith in right now. His trend for this season was very much going up for the first half of the season, but he's recently been going down. He's not hitting as many shots as he was. He'll be good. All of a sudden, we don't give up on him, and he keeps trying. And then, boom, he'll hit like a 3 or 2, and that's great. But quite often, we have to go through him missing like 2 or 3 shots before he actually hits one. And I don't know if I want to waste the time on trying to see him do that. I really am getting more and more, Greg, into this idea of Fred being the only guy who's not big that plays on our team in our regular rotation. That those little guys on the bench are really just backups just in case. But they shouldn't be regularly playing. It's either we have Fred out there as a point guard in what he does normally, or otherwise we're positionless. And that's really what I want the Raptors to be more like. And when they bring Malachi out, it doesn't happen that way. And I don't feel like he's adding enough in a way to make it worth playing him regularly every game in the rotation. So I think he's out. I think he really is a fringe rotation player. Now, I hope Nick plays more of the bench. And it sounded like with more balance with the bench and the starters, he will try and play less minutes for the starters. And then maybe he gets little tryouts for like Joe Wieskamp, Jeff Doughton Jr., Delano, in little stretches, more like better stretches, like long stretches. Maybe it's this game. We're going to give Joe a good tryout in this game because of the matchup. And he gets like a good 10 minutes run in that game. That'd be good because he does still need to kind of like try out some of the guys near the end of the bench to just really see how much you can get out of them as role players going into a possible playoff run. So yeah, I think you're right that we should expect more run for fringe guys, maybe just on a case by case basis on certain night. Is maybe Jeff's night, this may be Delano's night, that kind of thing. Monique saying CNN butchering Pascal Siakam's name. Do you do better, CNN? Yeah, I saw that clip. I want to bring this up. I have it in front of me right here. Siakam posted on his Twitter last night, 11 hours ago. Yo, Pascal Shakeem is crazy. Yeah, this lady called him Pascal Shakeem. And Coloco's on there, and in the response, he says, yo, I'm crying because of this lady on CNN with his name. Well, she kind of butchered a few names in that footage. A couple of NBA names were butchered. She didn't have a good time with Giannis's name either. No, well, this is CNN. Who the fuck are they? Who do they care? It's like that. Not like they have any reputableness to them at this point. They're not that far off from Fox News, honestly, in some ways. So, yeah, that's pretty funny. And listen, once again, Siakam is a big sport. He's a good sport in everything. He doesn't take anything to heart. He could be insulted by this, but he just thinks it's funny. He's laughing, just like the Donovan Mitchell impression of him. There's an open gym that's coming out tomorrow that's going to be sensational. I can already tell. They dropped hints of it on Instagram last night, and it's going to be about the All-Star weekend and all kinds of different stuff. Open Gym is going to kill it this week. I'm going to predict it right now that this weekend's Open Gym episode is going to be one of the best Open Gym episodes ever. I'm going to predict that right now, y'all. So be ready for that drop tomorrow on the 24th. It's coming tomorrow. It's going to be very good. Trevor's here. Good to see you, Trevor J. Good morning. Why people so negative all the time? Why are they so negative all the time, Trevor? Who hurt you, people? Who hurt you, Pensair? Why do you do this? Why do you act this way? Who hurt you? Tell me who hurt you. That's really what it is. Somebody hurt them, Trevor. That's why. Somebody made them really sad, and now they take it out on all of us. MSJ is saying, I really like the Pelicans as a team and look forward to a great game tonight. Raptors have a slight advantage. I think JV will have a good game, but Poeltl will too. Should be a fun game within the game. I love this, the enthusiasm of MSJ about the game tonight. And you know what? The Pelicans are a team I really like too. If there's a couple of teams in the West I am rooting for, and they are one of them. They're definitely one of the teams that I would like to see make some big noise in the playoffs this year. I've met a couple Pelican fans in past years, and they're very nice people, and they speak very glowingly of our team also. In fact, I met a Pelicans fan that said, I'm a Pelicans fan in the Western Conference, but I'm a Raptors fan in the Eastern Conference. So much like I'm a Spurs and Raptors fan, there's a lot of Pelicans and Raptors fans out there also. And I have no problem with it. They're a great team that I have a lot of respect for. And it is going to be fun tonight to have that matchup of JV and Poeltl. And you're going to see the new best friends, Jose Alvarado and Scottie Barnes. And hopefully we'll see a little bit of smack talking between those young men, the rising stars, the winners, Team Pow, playing against each other, the newfound friendship of Grand Theft Alvarado and SB4. So it is going to be a very fun game in a couple different ways. JV's homecoming always is fun to see JV in the house here in Toronto. And then, listen, we got to beat. I'm telling you, I want some get back against CJ McCollum and his bullshit talking about how there's Raptors that are unhappy being here earlier this season. Yeah, well, you said that. We remember. And now we got to beat your ass for that. And it's always fun to see the young, talented guys. We need to watch out for those three young talents, Murphy, Ingram, and Herb Jones. Those guys are good. And yeah, it's going to be a fun battle. Their teams are kind of similar in a way. They got a lot of young, really talented, athletic guys. So it's going to be fun battle. And it's too bad Zion's not playing. But hey, that helps us. That's for sure. We saw how dominant and amazing Zion was when we played them earlier this season. So it helps us that he's not there. That's for sure. Let's see. Mike saying, Logical Raptors fanatic. There it is, the divide. Youths versus vets. WWE storyline, and OG is with the youth guys. Coloco, Precious, Scottie, etc. Laugh my ass off. Look, I can do it too. Acting like it's smart to even come up with it. Yeah, I mean, they're going to book it like a wrestling promotion or something. Like, oh, and this is the funny thing. OG's a bridge. He's in both groups. He very much is in both groups. If there is a group, young guys and old guys, well, OG belongs to both of them. Because honestly, he's with Pascal and Fred and Poeltl just as much as he's with Scottie and Gary. So, yeah, the three amigos, the young guys, Gary, Scottie, and OG, Well, OG's very much a part of that group with Pascal, Fred, and he's kind of the glue that keeps it all together. Chris Boucher's another one. He belongs in both groups. Chris can go hang out with Scottie. They're very close and do all the things with them, but also, he is very much established Raptor who's been around forever and is with Pascal and Jakob and all those guys too. So I don't know. They're going to try and versus everything. They want Freddie versus Scottie. They're going to do every little stupid thing like that. These aren't fans. These are people trying to cause dissension on our team in any kind of way. They are not probably people that have anything to do with Toronto. They may be some person sitting in Boston on a computer somewhere. You got to realize that. Name is saying Trae Young has got a serious body count of head coaches at this point. Not a good look. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Trae Young, you may be the problem. I think that there's issues with you, and it is that you don't play defense. And when your coach tries to get you to play defense and you do not, you have a butt up. I think this is very much what's happening. You have a butt up. It's like, well, you're not trying hard enough, Trae. You can't just score all the time. We need you to play defense. Coach, it doesn't work for me. Well, you're not going to outscore everybody every night, and this is not winning basketball playing this way. Well, this is just how I play, coach. I was like, can you fire the coach, owner? Yeah, it's a lot of that kind of shit. And I think it really is, that's at the crux of it. They try to get Trae to play defense, and he won't fucking play defense. And then there's a conflict, and then somebody gets fired. That's basically it. Lloyd Pierce, the other guy, got fired for that. Let's see. Keep going with these comments. Good stuff this morning. I like to see all the names and everybody seeing how everybody's doing. Cool Cat saying our media is so negative. I look at who the players smile and interact with, and who then I follow them. Our guys are focused on winning and positivity and getting the playoffs. All others can F off. Yeah, it was like I saw a clip, and I guess Savannah Hamilton was like the guest, and they were asking her about the team, and she said she was a voice of reason. They were trying to paint a whole negative picture, is saying like that the team's not happy and all this stuff. And basically what she said was, well, every time I talk to them, they're upbeat, they're staying together, they're very focused, they believe in themselves, saying all this positive stuff. But meanwhile, the whole segment was painting a negative picture, and she was coming in there telling the truth as a sideline reporter, as somebody who talks to the Raptors all the time, is around them, traveled with them on this road trip that they went on. She knows, because she's actually there talking to them to their face, so she can feel the vibes. And, some of these people on Sportsnet and TSN, they're just kind of making bullshit up like we're talking about today. And she went on there, and they asked her questions about being around the team, and she told them this, like, the vibes are fine. They're strong. They're happy. They're together. They've stayed together in adversity. And meanwhile, they still have the narrative that they want to push of it being negative. Well, she wasn't jiving with that when she came on and said what she said, Savannah Hamilton. So you go. And she is just like that. That's what I'm saying, Cool Cat. That is a good way to look at it. Like I said, any kind of news today, if you get a news source and they make you have anxiety, they make you feel negative, stop reading or using that news source, because that's very much what they're trying to do. They're trying to hook you with sensationalism and fear. And when you get manipulated in that way, it's a dopamine thing where they want you to come back and over again. So when you are able to be cognizant of that effect on you by news or information that you're getting, whether it's Raptors related or political or news in general about the world, realize that that is very much on purpose, and that you don't want to be manipulated by those kind of forces. You discontinue using them as news sources, because they are giving you bad vibes. Literally, they're giving you bad feelings. They're trying to trigger you. And that's why you got to really know how content makers make you feel. If they make you feel good, then yeah, go with them. But if they make you feel kind of like, I feel more depressed because I read this, or I feel more negative about the Raptors situation because of this, don't fucking read them. Be done with them. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, Cool Cat, for sure. Guardian Transit saying, well, I think we should all take a chill pill and see where this team goes by season's end. We had our bad spell. Maybe we are into a solid end to this season. Yeah, Guardian. See, he's not getting too ahead of himself like I am. I'm a little ahead of, but I really do predict, and I try and like go ahead just because that's the nature of my channel. But I believe in them. I really do have like evidence from a basketball knowledge perspective of why we would do better, because Poeltl's on our team filling a void. But Guardian's being guarded. about it because he doesn't want to get too ahead of himself and get too optimistic. He'll take it as it comes. And that's a very healthy, good way to do it is to take it as it comes. Well, I want to believe it. I want it to happen, but we need to let it happen and make sure it happens first before I get too overjoyed. And that, I guess that's a good way of balancing it instead of being so jaded and saying, well, I don't believe they'll make it. Well, I'm leaving it open to the realm of possibility of whatever's going to happen. I hope that they do well and they win and have a good, strong run out. But also, just in case, I'm not going to say they will for sure. And that's a very healthy way to look at it. At least you're neutral in some ways. But I know that you want them to win. You know that you want them to go on a good run on the way out. But this is the kind of mindset you want to think about with the Raptors right now because they do seem like they're at a turning point and they may be successful and they may be fail. But I don't know. And I want to allow a space for them to be very successful and go to the playoffs and kick some ass. And that's what I'm saying right now. Logical saying, got to keep viewers hooked on the storyline. So the progression of the storyline has value, even if the facts are weak on the progression. Progression equals clicks. Some people are transparent. Yeah, they really do want to keep you hooked with fear. And that is Fox News and CNN and all kinds of other news channels, modus operandi to get that hooked in you. It's like, oh, you're going to be worried about immigrants coming to this country? Well, we're going to dig in on this and make really, really like dig on this fear you have of immigrants coming to this country and stealing your job. That's Fox News's playbook right now, that they keep old white people that are afraid of immigrants coming in the country hooked by telling them all the horror stories of it. And that's totally keeping them hooked on fear. And that's what you're saying. Now, talking about storylines, let's do a storyline real quick. The real mascot matchup. It's been too long. I missed this storytelling time that I do with the real mascot matchup so much in the last week. We got to do a little reminder. The last time we saw the mascot, the Raptor, he was driving a rocket car. He listened to horrible jazz. It didn't sound good. And then he raced Detroit Pistons hot rod with a big, huge engine in a street race. And he beat the car. But a police officer caught them on radar and chased them. And he's pulling over the Raptor in his rocket car in the parking lot of a Subway. And the other car got away. And this is what happened. He's going to get out of the car. The cop's getting out of the car. And the Raptors a little worried because, he's going to get a ticket. What's going to happen? He's been really mistreated by people in this world with Nurse Annette and all the crazy shenanigans in that horror house and the stuff that happened. So he's a little mistrustful of people. And he's very mistrustful of the police also because sometimes the police can be very mean to people that aren't like them. And, well, he's very, very worried. So the police officer's coming up to the window and he says, "Roll down your window, sir." And he's like, "Do you know how fast you were going, sir?" And the Raptor's like, he doesn't know what to say. First of all, he tries to tell him how fast he was going in kilometers because he's Canadian. And the officer's like, "What is this kilometer stuff? You should tell me in miles." Anyway, they're trying to go back and forth. And the Raptor does really look like he's going to get a ticket. And that he's not going to have to go to jail, which is good. But as he's writing the ticket, all of a sudden, the door of the Subway busts open. And a man in a ski mask runs out, and he has all the money from the Subway, and he's running out with the money, and he jumps in a car and he takes off. And the cop sees it, and he's like, "Oh, whoa, that's a robbery. That's a little bit more than a ticket." And he's like, "All right, this is your lucky day, buddy." And he says, and he runs and jumps back in the car, and he chases the guy who just robbed the Subway instead of giving the ticket to the Raptors. So he had a little bit of magic happen, where a bowl-way magic at the Subway because this happened. He got out of the ticket. So the Raptor's feeling pretty good. He's like, "All right, I'm going to go inside and get something to eat," because the cop is chased off and he's going after the guy who robbed the Subway. They're a little shaken in the Subway, but they're like, "Yeah, we'll feed you, I guess. We just got robbed. What do you guys have?" "Well, we have Bowl-Way. Do you like Bowl-Way? Subway Bowl-Way?" I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds good. What flavors do you have?" "Well, we're all out of chicken." "Wow, okay, you're out of chicken. Well, what kind of Bowl-Way do you have?" "Well, we have a new flavor that we just came up with." "Oh, really? Bowl-Way flavor? What is it?" "Well, instead of chicken, we're using Pelican." "What? You guys have Bowl-Way that's got Pelican in it?" "Yeah, it's a Caesar peppercorn Pelican Bowl-Way." "Well, that sounds very intriguing. I think I will try some Pelican today." Well, we'll have to find out next time. Is it smart for the Raptor to try a new Subway menu item called the Pelican Bowlway? I don't know. That sounds a little fishy to me. Like, are Pelicans even good to eat? I don't know. We'll have to find out next time on the Real Mascot Matchup, whether a Pelican Bowlway, it gives him indigestion or gives him very healthy nutrition and makes him stronger. We'll find out next time. Real Mascot Matchup. There you go. There's your storyline. Yeah. And Dr. Goodbye is saying, haha, good one. He's the one that called Dr. Goodbye. He's the one that make it feel all right. Yeah, I'm going to sing some Vince Neil this morning. All right, let's see. Logical Raptors fanatic. How about the truth about being a story? How about the truth being the storyline? I know. Why do y'all have to, this world is already interesting enough just in truth. It's not like we have to make fantastical stories up because there's crazy ass shit just happening in reality all the time anyway. And listen, there's so much excitement around the NBA. Why do we have to be tabloid? Why do we have to make it like a Survivor, like a reality show? It's like people on the island. Somebody's got to get voted off. It's not like that on the Raptors. Fred does not need to be voted off, you negative Raptor fans. There's no Jeff Probst and Tribal Council. So it's like, quit your shit with that. Oh my gosh. Just let these guys play and do their job. They're all for one, one for all. In fact, there's some things about the Raptors that are not like our society of get it out there and get it and be dog eat dog world. Sure, there's some of that in the NBA, but there's also a little bit of like continuity of community as far as like we're all for one, one for all. We're trying to help each other. We're looking for each other. We're pushing each other up. It's not a dog eat dog fight for everything that you get kind of world totally. There is some of that element on the team, but in some ways there's a lot of support and community and love among the team also. So yeah, it's very interesting stuff. And that's what I'm saying. Not exciting enough for people that don't actually like and watch basketball, hence Project Truth and the real ones. That's right, Mike. You keep going with your Project Truth. I am with you and walking with you on that parade. Yes, sir. Seymour saying this man got more Toronto gear than me, maybe. I got over 25 different Toronto hats, multiple Toronto jerseys, Argos, Leafs, Raptors, but I think you outdone me. I don't know, Seymour. Listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to guess that I've got about 12 hats, and I've got 6 jerseys, and I've got probably about 50 shirts, 50, maybe 50 to 60, somewhere around there. I probably got about, I don't know. I mean, I've got a shirt under a shirt. I got the damn socks on too. I mean, this is serious. And I'm not even going to tell you about my underwear. But yeah, I'm decked out. I got the hat, the shirt, the long sleeve, the socks. That's right. I'm gear ready. That's when it's game day. I'm gear ready. And I'm going to put this jersey on over these 2 shirts also when the game starts. And I'll even get the jacket and put it on. I may have 6 Raptors article of clothing on every single time when the game comes on. 6 for the 6, baby. Yeah. But I don't know. It's not a competition. But yeah, go get more. Space Cadet's here. Good to see Space Cadet with the blue on too. Glad Pander to Casuals weekend 2023 is finally over. Time to start winning again. Yeah, that All-Star weekend. Oh, what a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, you reminded me that Karl Malone exists in this world. Thank you, NBA. Burna Boy. Yeah, that's about it though. Yeah, it's funny. Precious was talking about the Burna Boy concert this weekend and Pascal getting to introduce them. He's like, I told Pascal to film it real good because I want to watch the footage up close. So he was like getting Pascal. And listen, I'm seeing a really weird something going on between Precious, Pascal, and the Open Gym guys. Like Pascal said something in his interview yesterday about how he's very interested in the documentary and content creating process. That his stuff that came out over All-Star Weekend, he really got into it. And he loved doing it. And I know that Scottie has a shared interest in this also with his YouTube channel and working with Max. That this is something that these guys enjoy is like the production of Open Gym and the way it looks and all this stuff is very interesting because Precious and Pascal seem like they have an interest in it that's above and beyond just being a part of it. They want to actually be a part of filming it and like how they do it. They're trying to learn this stuff. So that's very cool that they're showing an interest in a side thing with the Raptors, Open Gym, and how they produce it. That these guys, I can see these guys getting into this and becoming really interesting content producers going forward, or maybe even after they retire. Who knows? They may have some sort of hobby involved in like content producing because they really like it. You could tell Siakam fell in love with it this weekend at the All-Star. He really did. Savage is here. Good to see Savage. His name is underlined. These new players are getting comfortable sitting out. At least Pop load managed Timmy because they were a sure lock for a deep playoff run. These bums are load managing when their season ends in April. Yeah, there's you know what? There's weird things going on with the Celtics and the Bucks in particular. They load manage Giannis and Jalen and Tatum. We know because they've done it to us specifically on certain games that they realize that they may not have as good of a chance to win or something, that they just hold guys out on purpose and they just throw games. There's a lot of weird, shady shit going on with load managing and guys missing games and stuff like that. It is not good for the game. And they really need to figure this out. But when they talked to Adam Silver about this at the All-Star weekend, he was very sheepish and dodging the question. He doesn't have a clear answer for this. And in some ways, he was trying to kind of stand up for the players sitting out and being load managed. He kind of made it sound like the status quo is just what it is, and that he really doesn't have any plans in how to alleviate or fix this problem. And that's from the head of the NBA, the commissioner, Adam Stern. So, yeah, I don't think they have any idea of how to fix this. They really don't. And he was kind of saying, one of the things that he said, and this is what we need to hear as consumers of the NBA, is he's like, if load management is a problem, the fans would stop buying tickets and come to games. And, well, our ticket sales are stronger than ever. Our ratings are stronger than ever. So I don't really see load management as a problem, is what Adam Silver basically said at the All-Star weekend. This weekend, we're fine. Our numbers are fine. I don't care if they load manage. People are still buying the tickets and coming to the games. Well, what's that threshold where these guys are sitting out so much, or people are just like, fuck this, I'm not coming to the Lakers game because LeBron never plays when he shows up. He's never in the game. So it's like it's going to start happening at some point where it's going to backfire on you if you don't do something about it, Adam Silver. Seriously. You can be casual about it and say, well, this is just how it is. Suck it up and pay and come into the games anyway. Well, at some point, the fans are going to be like, the product isn't good enough. We're not going to support this anymore because your fucking players are sitting all the time. And little Johnny was sad because Steph Curry didn't play. And we drove all the way from Moncton. Ah! Yeah, Seymour, we're agreeing with Savage, a very friendly troll. Somebody that was like, in some ways he's like our pet troll to our group. And Savage is great. I mean, I see Savage in Raptors tonight. He can be very trollish and very negative, but at least he knows the room when he's in here. Canadian is saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Can't wait for this game. Let's get another W. Also heard Patricia singing at halftime. Let's go, SoCal. Soldiers, let's laugh out loud. Let's go. All right. Patricia singing at halftime. I'm not even sure what that is. You mean you heard Patricia is singing at halftime? That's somebody who's going to sing tonight, I'm guessing. Cool. Yeah. Well, you go, Bradley. You do a great job today with your job at Tada. If you guys need help around the house with painting, cleaning your windows, carpet cleaning, moving big objects, getting on that roof and clean them gutters, call the brothers Tada. They're in the phone book. Tada. They will help you. Bradley is there to help you. You call him. He will come. Nameless saying, Savage, is good to have a Celtics fan in our chat. Man, is Savage officially Celtics Nation? Because I've never actually gotten the feeling of Savage's devotion to which team. I feel like Savage is a Raptor fan half the time because sometimes Savage's trolling is very like, I'm pissed off. The Raptors should be doing better. And I'm kind of just being snarky with my comments. Really, I did not know that the allegiance is with the Celtics. Well, that's interesting. I don't know if that's totally true. Savage, you can elaborate if you'd like to tell us your allegiances if you want to. Otherwise, we can keep it secret too. Let's see. Tom Duke saying, haha, Nameless. Yes. Good morning, Savage. Let's go. Wonder how Gary Trent Jr. is going to play out on Raptors Show today with Will, Lou, Alex in their chat. Yeah, I heard that Gary Trent Jr. is on the Raptors Show today, guys. So, yeah, it should be pretty good. Gary's a little bit more open and honest and happy since the trade deadline passed. We saw him very, very much being not short answered. In his history as a Raptor, in the interviews, his interviews all the time when he gets up there are like under 2 minutes. It's basically they ask him a question, he gives one word answer, and then they just continue, and then maybe he gets 3 questions, and he speaks like 5 words the whole time. and then he leaves the press room. Well, he's been more chatty in interviews lately. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens with him on that show with those guys. In some ways, he's too good for them to be on that show. He really is. And y'all better show him respect. None of your negative bullshit, guys. Fuck your shit. Believe in the Raptors and they're going to do well. And don't come at him with some half-assed questions like, what makes you think that the Raptors can get into the playoffs and do good? We know you're going to ask that dumbass question. And he's going to say, well, we are together and we love playing basketball and we're going to kick some ass. And you don't have to believe in us, Will and Alex. We're going to do it anyway. So, yeah, hopefully they're not out of pocket with some questions. Y'all tell me if they're out of pocket with questions. I don't know if I'll watch that interview, but y'all tell me if he is. David saying Grand Theft Alvarado, clever. Yeah, that's their nickname for him. Grand Theft Alvarado. That's the NBA's official nickname for him. All right, let's see. Mike saying Open Gym is elite tier truth content. Open Gym prayers for it to continue to season 50. You know, it's such a huge hit. And in some ways, once again, I want to tell everybody, if you want to practice gratitude in your life, good things will happen. Let's practice gratitude at this moment right now for the show Open Gym, a show that's been around our team for 10 years. In some ways, Open Gym's value will be found in history of time. Over the years and years, decades from now, there will be Raptor freaks that come up very young, and they're going to want to know about the old days. Well, there's the archive. There is very much a video history of our team for the last 10 years that is very rich with content. And I feel so grateful and have so much gratitude that of all the NBA teams, we have this. Not that every NBA team has Open Gym. They don't get this treatment. They don't have this video diary of the whole last 10 years of their franchise's existence. So we should feel very fortunate and blessed as Raptor fans that we have this video diary that it will be amazing for people to go back and look at 50 years from now, 100 years from now. Think about that, because Open Gym will stand the test of time and our story will be told no matter what. They can try and say this and this and this about the NBA championship of the Raptors in 2019, but there is evidence of every step of the way that can go be watched by young Raptor fans as they come up. So, yeah, I am so grateful and loving towards Open Gym, the concept of it and what it has done for our team. It is special. It's like that Hard Knocks, NFL Hard Knocks show. We had it for our own team, and not every team in the NBA has this. And it'll really become very special and beneficial as time passes on. Trust me. Monique saying, love how they brought in Yak in the Open Gym trailer. Oops, I'll keep my mouth shut. Well, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I'll be looking for it now that Monique has mentioned it. Line Hunter saying, let's go Raps. Big W tonight. Watching your stream from DRDC helps me get in the right mood. Are you talking about you're at the Dominican Republic right now? Is that what that stands for? I'm not even sure what that acronym stands for. I'm guessing Dominican Republic. Is that where you are? DRDC? I'm not sure. I don't know what that means, Lion Hunter. But hey, listen, I hope I get everybody up in the right mood, get in that game mood. That's right. Let's get crazy. Let's get loud. Raptors, let's go down there and play good defense and kick their ass. Oh, yeah. Feeling the energy. We're coming back from All-Star break and we're ready to roast some Pelicans on the court at that Scotiabank Arena. Oh, yeah. It's going to be real fun. Let's get pumped up real nice. Yeah. Get some Sid Vicious in me real quick. Oh, man, I got to breathe for a sec. I got lightheaded. Oh, man. Oh. I would imagine like Randy Savage just fell over because he talked so crazy in a wrestling promo because he let all the blood go out of his head because he's yelling so much. All right, let's see. Forgetful is saying the Raptors have every reason to be upbeat. They have been playing well for weeks, even when losing. The entire team is together for the first time. They have momentum. Yeah, if anybody's going to know the vibes, it's them. They're living them and in them. And that's why the media needs to pay closer attention to them. Are y'all just not listening to them? They say things and you don't listen to them. Nick Nurse says something, you don't listen to them. Masai says something, you don't listen to them. You know, Fred says something, you don't listen to them. All right. Do you see how they act, how they're carrying their bodies, how they're like interacting with each other? The vibes are good. I don't understand why y'all are so negative. Y'all need to pay attention. And Forgetful is exactly right. The trending is winning right now. We've actually been winning the last couple weeks. Our win percentage is better than our losing percentage, and we're on our way back. But they don't want to believe that. They want to believe that we're still dead and they want that to happen. The cynical sports media of the Toronto area, it wants us to fail, just like the Blue Jays, just like the Leafs, so they can write a good story about failure. I'm sorry, you're going to get disappointed, y'all. The media, not us. They are going to get disappointed because they ain't going to get what they want. Monique's saying, Savannah doing better and better. Women supporting women every day. Let's go. Yeah, Savannah Hamilton, you are getting so much shine in all kinds of different ways, and you're doing a good job. And we appreciate you for your role and what you're doing in different ways. I really, really do appreciate you going on Sid Sixero's show or whatever show that was and speaking the truth about the vibes on this team, because there are a lot of bullshit things out there. And Dr. Good Vibes knows the good vibes. He said, let's go Raptors. He's got a celebration face. He's got a cowboy. He's got a girl doing a tumble. He's got a skier, and he's got a dunker too. I like the dunker. Yeah, that looks like Precious coming at the rim. Yeah. Canadian saying, I believe we are going for gold. This game means a lot. This team will show the haters and the media, the Toronto Raptors aren't playing around. Let's go. I like that. I like that, Bradley. Yeah. Let's make that. We'll give that recognition. They may not know right away. Slowly but surely, they'll see these W's start accumulating north of the border, and they'll be like, whoa, that Poeltl move was a big deal for the Raptors, and maybe they are kind of dangerous in the playoff picture. But we don't need to let them know about ringing the alarm or anything like that. We'll just let the work speak for itself as it comes out and as it happens, and then the shine and the recognition hopefully will happen, and hopefully it'll happen too late because we already beat their ass, and they'll be like, oh shit, we should have realized the Raptors were dangerous. Yeah, that's what I want to happen. Greg saying, addition of Muscala in Boston looks significant for their stretch run. The answer to not getting Yak. I haven't watched recent games, but see, he got 76 minutes in 3 games, significant for Horford and Williams. Yeah, I guess as a backup, but he's not really a true center. He's kind of like this weird 3-point specialist at this point. In fact, he's basically the injury replacement for Gallinari. It's like they wanted Gallinari for a certain role. Well, they didn't get him this whole year because he was hurt. And now they got a guy who's kind of like the replacement for what they wanted from Gallinari. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good shooter, but fuck that. I hate Boston. It's not going to work out. They're going to be horrible. It's not going to help them. He's going to be a cancer in their locker room, and they're going to fall apart because he comes there and he messes them up. Yeah, I'm going to Windurst that shit for them. Mike Muscala, he's not a good personality fit for Boston. He's going to destroy it from within. It's fun making up negative shit about teams, isn't it? Yeah, it's real fun, isn't it? Yeah, we can do that the other way. That's right. Logical saying, not going to lie, forgetful. Some people are attached to the place to get good players is by tanking and have become attached to this thought. As long as we don't tank, we will be a mid team and we don't even want the playoffs. I know. It's like the only thing that's good enough for these damn people is just getting Larry O'Brien every season. In fact, if we got to the finals and lost in the finals, they would pick us apart and say it was a failure of a season just because we lost in the finals. I'd be like, well, we got the fucking finals, motherfucker. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's all or nothing with them. And they really do believe this mid argument. And in some ways it's true, but in some ways it's not true for a team like ours, because we don't do things the normal NBA way with our roster and how we acquire players and develop them. We're not like other teams that got to rely on a high draft pick to get really better by a lottery player. No, we've proven we can do this without having to do that. It's through development and just having really smart like drafting in the spots we have. So it's interesting. I think once again, the model of the team, as you guys have described on y'all's channels also, is very much it's a framework that can have like little modules and pieces of it can be plugged in and plugged out. And that maybe down the road, if it comes to a point where we feel like we're hitting a ceiling like we did with DeMar and Kyle, as far as what we can do in the playoffs, we take a little bit of like one piece out and switch it out, but we don't scrap the whole thing and like raise the ground and like say we're burning it down and like, start all over. No, you keep the framework of like the basic, like most of it that is really good. And maybe you switch one or two of it out. Like a Casey for Nurse, DeRozan for Leonard kind of stuff. And then boom, you're at that level. So that's what I'm saying. Like, even if it seems like we'll be trapped in a mid purgatory, like some people are so worried about, oh my gosh, if we don't tank, we're going to be trapped in a mid purgatory. you're wrong because of this philosophy of taking players and plugging them into the existing framework that we've already built, the culture, the system, the way that we want to do things. And you just add and put something else in. And maybe that is the thing that leaps you up higher in your ceiling to get a championship. So, this whole idea of being a turnstile of mid and worried about being mid over and over again and getting caught in that, it's not for us. It could be for other teams that aren't smart enough, don't have the means enough, are not good enough, but not us. We have a really good front office that can plug in and play and do different things without scrapping the whole thing to find the right formula. And I think that's something that you've done a good job of describing on your channel, Mike, that I think people aren't realizing. We keep the framework, we keep the culture, and we just make minor changes in it. And then boom, all of a sudden we have a huge leap is how it's going to happen. Cool Cat saying Pascal and Boucher are young vets that vibe with the youngins. Fred is the raw, tell it like it is. Pascal explains it in a nicer tone. Love the two styles of leadership, gets the point across regardless. Yeah. There's all different kinds of leaders on this team, and Fred has to be kind of the hard-ass leader. You need that kind of leader on there. If you don't have a guy who's going to tell people the truth, then you're fucked because everybody will live in dream world and think they're doing a good job when they're not. And that's why Nick Nurse and Fred VanVleet have to be honest people and be able to come at them in an honest, constructive criticism kind of way and say, listen, you've got to do this better, Scottie, or you got to do this better, Chris. It's everybody gets it. Even Fred gets it himself. It's not like he's above reproach because he's the captain and he maybe gets licensed to do that to other people. He still gets it from people too, whether it is Nick or maybe even somebody like Thaddeus can come to Fred and say, look, I've been in this league for 17 years, Fred. You got to do this a little bit better. And he'd be like, yeah, I know. But Fred's going to be very much the hardest critic on himself all the time anyway. This whole season, he's been so hard himself for how badly he started the season off and how it's taken so long for him to get on track. So he's his hardest critic, honestly. But this leadership and accountability is important at all levels, whether it's Masai for Nick for the players, Fred for the players, and so on. It's all important. David's got the cup out. That's right. We want that Larry O'Brien, baby. That's what we're going for. That's what we want. All right, let me keep going. Mike's saying Siakam has real star quality talent, similar to Magic. Not going to lie, his smile makes you want to smile and makes people feel great. Siakam has a future in front of the camera after a ball if he wants to. Yeah, we'll see. I think he's more interested in the production and like shooting stuff. And, it could be very interesting. He's always going to these really pristine beaches like he did go to for a couple of days before he came back from the All-Star break. Amazing pictures. I tell you, the place that Siakam goes to for his summers and his beaches that's the most beautiful place on earth. Honestly, the sky is so blue, the water is so clear, and it just looks like such a ritzy, really, really rich place to be when Siakam goes to the islands. Wow, the pictures he takes are amazing, and he does have an eye with the lens. So I don't even know if he'll be in front of the camera, Mike. He might be behind it. Monique's saying, a bit off topic, I'm seeing things like Serge might be heading to the Heat. Go Raptors always. Well, geez, everybody in the buyout market, it's getting close to the March, and go and get your players. But I don't know. Who knows? They only have a certain amount of spots in Miami. Geez, they must have had a lot of open spots to get all these players all of a sudden. Yeah, who knows? Who cares? If he goes there, he'll be reunited with Kyle. That would be interesting, I guess. Yeah, I hate that in some ways. I don't want Serge to go to Miami. G saying someone said Pascal Shakeem, the dream, laugh out loud. Love that he takes things lightly and laughs. Yeah, well, listen, in some ways that's a really good strength of his. Because listen, people have been real ugly to him and like insulting and saying awful things. Well, it goes off his shoulders. Donovan Mitchell was being an asshole at All-Star Weekend, doing he's like, this is you going to the basket. Like making fun of Siakam on his own camera, but he doesn't care. He's above it. He doesn't take it the wrong way. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all don't have to take it in the wrong way. Even if somebody's being an asshole and a troll, you can be above it and be like, oh yeah, you're funny. I won't give it another thought. Whatever. You're a fool and a clown. It's kind of like that. And like, yeah, he saw the clip of that lady on CNN, Pascal Shakeem. And him and Koloko are having a good laugh about it at this point. So in some ways, that's a real power to take it like you could take it real like personal and get upset about it, but that doesn't help you. Just show them how strong you are and how confident you are instead, and say, yeah, this is funny. That is funny that she said my name was Shakeem. That is funny. Jumps on Clink saying, I'll be shocked if Sportsnet personalities have the balls to spew their Thorpe nonsense to the face of an actual player. If they do, they will look silly. Good TV if they ask Gary about that crap. You know, we get these little moments sometimes, Greg, in the press scrums. You know what I'm talking about, where Aaron Rose will ask like Siakam a question about trades. And he'd say, well, what do you think we should do at the trade deadline? And Siakam would be like, I'm not the GM. I'm not Bobby, man. I don't answer this question. I just come to work. I come and show up and play every day. That's all I care about. That's not my job description. And then they'll say, how would you feel if one of your teammates got traded? And then all of a sudden Siakam like feels like somebody died. It's like he acts like, you know, you just told him his dog died or something. And it's just like it gets real uncomfortable and like kind of like cringe, because like Aaron Rose, you just made this grown man feel his feelings and sadness. And you didn't have to do that. It's like, fuck you, Aaron Rose, for pointing it out. So in some ways, when they do this kind of stuff, it really backfires on them, because you're just like, oh my gosh, I just made things really awkward. And like, I kind of regret asking this because I just made Siakam feel emotions and sad. Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. He did it to Boucher early this season, and he did it to Siakam around the trade deadline. And he got what he deserved. Aaron Rose, you got that uncomfortable cringe moment where you're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have said this. And you stepped in it a little bit. Yeah. They remember who asked those impersonal, sad questions also, just so you know, Aaron Rose. So you want to keep it good with them Raptors. Maybe you don't ask them questions about trades, because they don't really have anything to do with those. They happen and they make them sad. So when you ask them, they don't like talking about them. And that's what you're going to find out. We'll have to see, Greg, if Gary Trent Jr.'s appearance on Sportsnet's The Raptors Show today has anything like this happen today, like any uncomfortable shit, because these guys are trying to be funny. And maybe Gary's no nonsense about it. He's like, hey, I don't really appreciate your little snarky joke, Will Lou. And yeah, there could be a little bit of fireworks, because we know Will Lou had some issues with Chris Boucher in the past. And he said a lot of out-of-pocket things about Chris Boucher. And then Chris Boucher had him on a hustle play, and he apologized to him. And he grew a little bit more as a person, Will Lou, from understanding that these players are human. And when you say things about them, they can hurt their feelings. So, yeah, you go ahead and hurt Gary's feelings live on your show today and see what fucking happens. I'll bet you real quick, you'll see the street and Gary real fast. Oh, yeah, you will. Savage is saying, definitely not a Celtics fan. Your analysis was spot on. I was pissed, and I've come to accept the season for what it is. Let's finish strong, though. He has come around. I love it. I love it. See, that's what I'm saying. Listen, yeah, let's not put that on people unnecessarily, because in this channel, that is a huge insult. You're a Celtics fan. I mean, in some ways, we love Skater Dylan and Boston sports fan that come in here and stuff like that. But in some ways, yeah, if you're a Raptors fan and somebody accuses you of being a Celtics fan, ooh, no, them's fighting words. No. And Savage does not want to be mischaracterized in that way. So that's good. Yeah. And listen, Savage, I know Savage cares about this team. It's just that in some ways, Savage is also an artist with his comments. He can be very witty and funny in a trollish way. And in some ways, that's an art that I respect. And in some ways, he uses his powers for good. So I'm all about it. As I said before, very welcome here. And like maybe other times when Savage has been here, yeah, they've been kind of like, I might want to strike you and get you out of here. But no, everything's good now. Mike saying, relive all the greatest moments and have the real footage, not just stories from players, but the true truth. Yeah, this is what history's always needed. They needed an open gym for the Civil War. They needed an open gym for every important historical thing, so they could actually fucking tell the real history of what happened instead of the whitewashed history, the history that may paint the side that won in the right way, where it's like, nah, dog, Thanksgiving really didn't go down like that the first time we'd had it here at Plymouth Rock. That's what I'm saying. If they had open gym version of history, everybody would know the real truth about what has happened to get to this point in history. And that's what I'm saying. They can make up all this bullshit about the Raptors. Well, we have the video evidence, and we have the diary of the everything on there. And it's so true, Mike. Dr. Goodbye is saying Pelicans feed on fish, so they may be edible. I'm sure that you can eat pelican. I bet you there are people in the bayou down in New Orleans, in Louisiana, and they get that and they put a crudité with some Pelican and maybe a little crawdaddy. I don't know. Maybe there's probably some swamp people that catching them Pelicans. I wonder how much meat's on the bone, though. That's sometimes the thing that makes it whether it's worth getting a Pelican to try and kill it and eat it and fry it up. Is what does the meat taste like, and is like enough? Is it worth it? Who knows? Maybe they're smelly. Maybe it tastes nasty because a pelican could be a really smelly, nasty bird like a pigeon. I don't know. Who knows? And maybe I need to go eat pelican now. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. Tom Duke's got some pelican on the roast, and it looks like he's got the 100% Canadian maple syrup ready to go with it. Maybe we can roast some pelican with some glazed Canadian maple syrup glazing on it. That might be good. Sweet pelican. Raps loves saying patience, patience, patience. That's how you build the team. You get talent, you put together, and you let it develop together. Just a little patience. Yeah. I've been walking the streets at night, just trying to get it right. Oh, man, I got some GNR going. Like, I would whistle, but I don't want to right now. But, yeah, patience. That's what Masai Ujiri's singing right now, just like Axl Rose. It's just a little patience. Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, the Raptor fans, have patience. Just like Masai Ujiri, it's all going to work out. David's saying, Savage, my man. Yes, sir. Let's go. That's right. David's all about it. Seymour is saying, don't forget to wash y'all's damn hands after chowing down on them Pelicans. Let's go, Raptors. Yeah, I was going to add this to the story. No, maybe I won't. I don't want to give it away. I want to make it like the cliffhanger go on. I have an idea for what happens with the Pelican Bowlway if things go wrong. Hopefully we win and it's just good nutrition and he gets fulfilled and his stomach's full and he can get in the rocket car and things will be fine. But we'll have to find out. Maybe that Pelican ain't right to eat. We'll have to find out. Mike saying Thorpe said early in the season the Raps need to trade Fred for Scary Terry and start Gary Trent and Terry. It's not a good fit. It's not a good fit stuff. He's not good at fit stuff. He can chart certain players' development early, but beyond that. Listen, I don't even know what his credentials are. I understand maybe he's worked with Siakam recently, but honestly, if he's such a smart guy and he helped Masai get his foot in the door in the NBA, why is Masai not turned around and given him a job? And maybe he did earlier on and it was a big fail. And he said, I'm sorry, David, you can't work here anymore. I have so many questions about why this guy is a fringe dude and not necessarily like he's not a college coach. He's not done this. He's not done that. I see him talk and my bullshit meter goes off like crazy. Like when I watch Fox News, it's like serious. You can go watch him on TV and the way he talks, there's tells that he's not telling the truth and he's kind of full of shit. You can tell when people are like that. They give you tells. And that dude is like that. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe anything that he's saying. I think he's just making up shit. And in fact, he may have a grudge against Masai for some reason. Think about it this way. I could witness this shit. It could be that he feels like Masai owes him something for helping him get his first job. David Thorpe helped Masai get his job with the Orlando Magic. And then maybe he's like, well, Masai, you need to get me back. And well, if Masai ain't helping him out or getting him jobs, well, he can fucking try and be destructive towards his team and make it harder for him to do his job. That could be part of it too. I don't know what his reasoning for why he's coming out with this campaign. It doesn't make any sense what he's saying. It's not good for the team. It's not smart. It's absolutely stupid basketball advice. So in some ways, like if you're learning and you understand it's stupid, then he gets discredited. But people want to believe him because he is an expert or a coach. I don't know what his fucking credibility is. All I know is that he helped Masai get his first job. That's all I fucking know. The rest of it is all bullshit. Cool Cat saying Open Gym is a documentary resource for a lifetime. So many shows, movies can be made from a repository. Truth is there. Can't fall prey to false narratives. That's right. And that's also part of the reason why I want to archive this show that I do here. That, listen, 20, 30 years from now, I may want to watch some of my old streams from like back in a certain period so I can reminisce about how we felt at that time. This is part of why I do this show, is because I want to be out there for the test of time, because I know YouTube is the kind of thing that could be sticking around, and with technology advancing and stuff, we have no idea. In fact, I've had this conversation with my father in the past year. that I could fully visualize them taking all the data from me on this stream at some point and maybe recreating me after my death because they have so much information about me online from me talking about myself and the Raptors so much that they could actually maybe recreate me as a hologram and a personality online after I die. Isn't that crazy? Because that's not out of pocket to think about for the future. So in some ways, I want to build a body of work that's very true to myself, just in case this happens. And I may sound crazy for saying that, but why does that not out of the reason of being, of happening? Seriously, the way we're progressing in some ways, the data and content could actually live on for like hundreds of years after we're dead is really, really crazy. Like, you think about how they had the old black and white footage of like Toronto from like 150 years ago, very early cameras, and how much that footage is valued because it looks so old at this point. Well, we're going to get surpassed in technology, but this stuff will look very interesting also to people 100 years from now, in some ways because it changed. So it's very interesting, the idea of Open Gym being a time capsule and being used in the future. Let's see. Cowboys saying, don't forget the hot sauce, Seymour. I think we win by 20 tonight. Also, my bold prediction, Scottie's going to have his best game of his young career tonight. Oh, that's a good prediction. And I could see it. If he gets up to play Alvarado because they're new friends, and like, listen, they know how they lost the Pelicans earlier this season. They have get back. They don't want to lose to them again. They felt humiliated by Zion Williamson and them. So they got get back they want to get tonight. And I think if you're going to eat Pelican, you need some Frank's Red Hot. You need some hot sauce on that Pelican. I think that's just a prerequisite for sure. Mike is saying to Jubstown, facts. Them going to Fred with the crap. Thorpe was saying Fred would just walk away and never look at that person again. Yeah, I mean, he might even just cuss them out right there. Like if the camera's not on or something like that, he might just cuss them. He's like, "What are you fucking bringing this bullshit? You talking about this Alton Brown cousin lookalike guy? He's just talking out of his ass. Yeah, he's one of these assholes who's lying about us right now. That's what he's saying. Yeah, if they talk to Fred directly about some of the shit that Thorpe's saying, listen, he man, it's so crazy. Now there's a big story this week about Orlando getting a big bag ready to pay Fred to try and lure him to the Magic this summer. I hate these kind of stories. Listen, I believe Fred when he said at the beginning of the season he wants to be a Raptor for life. Hopefully he's an honest guy, and I believe him. I mean, he's always been that way. He's shown that over time. So I don't know why I wouldn't believe him that he wants to be a Raptor for life. So we'll have to see what happens with the money and things this summer. Hopefully he's still a Raptor because other people may be wanting to try and pay him a lot of money and lure him from Toronto. And I'd hate that. We'll have to see what happens. Seymour saying 20 would be great. I think we win by 10. At the end of the day, we just want the win and lots of hot sauce. Yeah. We need a good lead. We do. Just in case things are fishy at the end of the game, I always say the Raptors need a double-digit lead so that the refs cannot manipulate just in a little bit of ways right at the end of the game and help the other team win right at the end. And this is one of the things we didn't do good earlier in the season with games where we were close. We did not keep that lead enough so that they fucked with us, and then we did lose close games. So this is very important to get a good lead, double digit, and hold it and not let them get close near the end. Forgetful saying Pascal and Precious may well emerge as media stars in the rapidly growing sports media landscape in Africa, as well as everywhere else in the Raptors universe. Sure. Serge Ibaka is kind of like this too with his How Hungry Are You and his media projects with like his music and his fashion. So yeah, these guys are, they're birds of a feather. They like making content. Scottie loves it too. Like, I don't know what happened with Max. Max must have fucked off and went somewhere else in the middle of the season. He was supposed to be filming Scottie's season, but I guess Max had to go back to school or he couldn't be with him because there was a point in time where Max was with Scott and he was supposed to be filming his season and making content and putting it out on his YouTube. Well, that's gone all the wayside. And Scottie's YouTube and his Twitch and all that is forgotten. The season got difficult, and I guess maybe it was like tough times, and Scottie sent him away. He's like, I don't want to document this. We're losing too much. Who knows? Who knows the reasoning? But at some point, Scottie and Max all of a sudden aren't filming or putting stuff out. And I'm really wondering about that. I don't know, Scott, you'll get back on that in the off season, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, where's Max? And where's your content? And where's your YouTube stuff, Scottie Barnes? Because Pascal and Precious and these guys are getting into that too. Monique saying, "Dear Alex Wong, please ask more questions than Will Lou. Please. I mean, watch. I meant watch. Just because of Gary Trent hate will period. Gary Trent hate will period. Even though I don't watch the show at all. I'm not sure what you said, Monique, but you want more Alex Wong talking to Gary instead of Will Lou. Yeah, well, we'll see. Listen, these guys can really look stupid real quick because, like, honestly, these are still players, and Gary's so cool. You don't want Gary to think that you're a nerd or an idiot or an asshole. So you better be on your best behavior today, young man, at Sportsnet. If you're gonna have Gary Trent Jr. there, because he's cool, he's a cool dude. You don't want to make him think you're idiots. Greg saying, "Gotta fire up the ovens for work. Hard to hear when I do so. Have a great game day, guys. Great stream, Lex. Keep it up." Thank you, Greg. And thanks for dropping content constantly lately. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good little short clips. Lots of tales of the red sauce and the bullshit that's being put out there and stuff like that. You go, Greg. And thanks. If you put me on blast or anything like that, or you put me in there, I'll put you on blast too. Greg and the Gubstown Clank, y'all. Putting out tons and tons of great Raptors content recently. Go give him a follow and a subscription. Nameless is saying, "I was just trolling you, Savage, giving you a little taste of your own medicino." Okay, yeah, that's a horrible insult for a Raptor fan, telling them they're a Boston fan. Nameless, be nicer. Alistair saying, "We're winning every game." I hope so, Alistair. I really do. Dr. Goodvice saying, "Make sure you download all your shows and streams in case YouTube fails. You never know. Great idea to archive." Yeah, I've thought about this too and stuff. You get a metadata or put it on a hard drive or something like that. Yeah, definitely. I'm on a couple different places. I have a whole library on Instagram also of a ton of content I did there on my project before this channel, the Kensington Variety VIP Club. Which was a show that I filmed in a convenience store in Kensington Market in Toronto, where I interacted with the locals of that neighborhood and also tourists and anybody who came to Toronto. Well, it was like a convenience store game show. People would come into the convenience store and I'd do Raptors trivia with them and they'd win sodas. It's such a fun, crazy show. And there were regulars on the show, regular customers from the neighborhood and different characters. So it was a very interesting show. Me working in a convenience store, interacting with the community of Kensington Market. But yeah, that's on my Instagram. If you look me up, the Raptorsfreak, you'll find it in the archives. And there's also a library on this channel of the Kensington Variety VIP Club, and it was filmed during the championship season. So you see me reacting to the stuff that we did in 2018, 2019, like when we traded to get Gasol and when we won the championship. It's all documented on there, my reactions to when we won the 2019 championship. And it's at the convenience store with the people from the community. It's really fun. It's such a fun, crazy show. And also it's a time capsule for before COVID. I filmed that show right up until COVID started, and I had to stop working at the store because it was too dangerous at the beginning of COVID. I was like, I'm not getting paid enough to work in a convenience store and put myself on the line with the front line of COVID. So I just quit and I left. But yeah, it was interesting, that whole storyline of going from like the championship year, the legalization of marijuana in Toronto, and then boom, COVID, a pandemic. And then the last couple seasons of that show were done at my house and me in isolation dealing with the pandemic. So it's a very weird show. It's a very weird show. The Kensington Variety VIP Club. Yeah, so check it out. But yeah, I will definitely get backups for it just in case. I feel like YouTube's going to be around forever though, for some reason. I don't know why. It probably will be ruined by capitalists and corporations somehow, some way though. Logical saying Fred VanVleet will have to decide if he wants to win or lose with Magic, or when they blow up again, become a Westbrook hot potato on a 26% max. Not gonna lie, Tobias Harris style. I don't know how it plays on the Magic. Here he is set. Yeah, it's really going to be balancing. What do you want, Fred? Do you want the biggest bag? Go to Orlando. Do you want to win? Do you want to not take your kids out of school in Toronto? Do you want to keep them, your life settled as it is here already? You know, I think that's way more important to him than people realize. It's a pain in the ass to get yourself uprooted and start all over somewhere else. Now it is warmer down there and there are different things, but who knows? We'll have to see if red is true blue red and for our team and staying with the Raptors, or is he going to go blue and go down south? We'll have to see. Let's see. Will Boo is a cancer. Yeah. Alistair saying Siakam has a center now. He needs to co-star for the playoffs. He needs a co-star for the playoffs. Well, what if it's OG or Scottie? I don't know. Wayne's saying, feeling good. Ball is back. Interesting to see the Raptors rise, and I am intrigued with revenge basketball in LA. Yeah, I'm intrigued with the Russell Westbrook on the Clippers revenge thing. And also, we'll be going to LA to see those LA teams on our last West Coast road trip in the next month or so. So we'll be going down over there to see Russell on the Clippers soon. We ought to play them. A piece to Canadian Cowboy. Nameless saying, damn, Lex, you've been doing the way longer than it may seem. Yeah, I've been doing streams and different stuff for, I've been doing content for like 4 or 5 years now, but it hasn't all been on YouTube. I switched to YouTube 2 seasons ago. Monique saying, always awesome listening to you, Lex. Great stream and day here. All right, thanks, guys. Let me wrap it up at just over 2 hours. Once again, our injuries for tonight are that Larry Nance Jr. and Dyson Daniels are probable for the New Orleans Pelicans. Zion is out, and so is EJ Liddell. The injuries for us are Otto Porter is out. OG and Thaddeus are questionable. They said they're going to play, though. As far as referees for tonight, for the G League, we have Tyler Merkovich, Kelsey Reynolds, and Teresa Stuck in Windy City against the Bulls. We really need to win that game, 905. Y'all don't need to be beaten twice in 2 nights by that team. Y'all need to win this one. And then on the big level, here in Toronto against the Pelicans, we got David Guthrie, Ray Acosta, and Andy Nagy. Not a bad ref crew, but they are a little inexperienced and younger as far as things. For my keys to victory tonight, seriously, this is a talented team that is fighting in a similar spot on the other side like we are, and that they are very hungry and they need to win also. We need to outplay them, out-hustle them. We can't come back from this break flat. We got to come out and jump on all over them at the beginning of the game and kick their ass the whole entire game. Let's really be overpowering, Nick and Raptors, because Poeltl is here. We can be a little bit overpowering, hopefully, in some ways by getting more spacing from his presence on the court. I want to see a bunch of open Gary Trent looks, Fred looks that are just going in. I want to see Siakam having an easier time operating instead of just in isolation, maybe a little bit of 2-man give and go with Poeltl himself. It's so much easier for you, Siakam, to make your shots when you get Poeltl to touch the ball in between you having it. You dribble in, you give it to Poeltl, Poeltl gives it right back to you, and boom, you shoot, you make it. And that's so much easier than you just trying to go in there and force it by yourself without nobody else touching it. So I'd like to see more of that. And I'd like to see OG return and continue to show his laser 3-point shooting, his attacking the rim, his bully ball, and of course, his shutdown defense. We match up really well with this team across the board. They have good length, but so do we. They have a center, but so do we. So we need to match up with them and outwork them and outplay them, and we will win. This is so important, the rebound battle. Things like, we could shoot better and actually outshoot them tonight. That would be fantastic too, because we are going to be a better shooting team for the rest of the season, no matter what. Yeah, I'm all about it. Dr. Good Vibes saying, you're right. We'll find out if he's all about being the bag or if he's a true Raptor. That's what I'm saying. I can't react or predict, but when it happens, then we will decide, and then we'll go from there. And it'll be so be it, or it'll be yes, thank you for staying and keeping around, Fred. We can't control this. And if it happens the way it happens, so be it. But I really do hope he does stay with us and re-signs with us. But there is a lot of noise about him going to Orlando all of a sudden. It's really weird. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And we really got to win tonight, Raptors. Kick some ass. We got to get on the good foot, because this is the first game after the break. We have a lot of promise, and we don't. This is the thing. If you guys lose, our fan nation is going to be acting out of pocket afterwards, and they're going to be very negative, just like the media has been recently. We don't need that. We need to give them a light to shine, and then they can believe more and then start trusting that you guys are going to kick some ass. So don't make me look stupid, Raptors. Come out there and beat their ass and start winning at a high clip and get in the playoffs and do everything successfully, so all the haters, the negative press, can shut the fuck up and be wrong. All right, y'all, have a great day. Do your day like a Raptor would, and do it with excellence. Kick ass, work hard, and do it the right way for the winning way. And hopefully that'll happen with the Raptors too. I'm going to be working out all day just to get ready for this game tonight. Y'all have a great day, and I'm very much looking forward to this battle. Jose versus Scottie, CJ versus Fred, Jonas versus Jakob. Yeah, I'm all about it. Let's go, Raptors, and let's beat those Pelicans. I wonder how roasted Pelican would taste. I bet it would taste pretty good with some hot sauce. Mmm.